Chapter 568. The dragon's roar reverberated between heaven and earth. Everyone stared blankly at the giant dragon shadow that suddenly appeared behind Longao. Before Zhou Dian could react, he had already discovered that his body had been locked in place, and the time around him had begun to flow backward. What was going on? What was going on? Zhou Dian was completely dumbfounded. At this moment, Longao had already arrived in front of Zhou Dian. The bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand slashed down mercilessly, directly killing Zhou Dian and Wang Luo with a single slash. After killing Zhou Dian, Longao immediately turned and left. He didn't even stay for a second longer. Longao was very worried about Longheng. After all, he had lost an arm. This would be a great hindrance to his future cultivation. The news of Longao killing the Sacred Land's half-saint Zhou Dian instantly spread throughout the entire Cloud Island as if it had grown wings. The Sacred Land was no exception. At the same time as the uproar in Cloud City, everyone thought that the Sacred Land would directly send an army and even more powerful warriors to attack Longao. But what was the result? The result was unexpected. The Sacred Land didn't take any action at all. It was as if the incident had never happened. What was the Sacred Land's intention? Everyone was guessing what the Sacred Land's intention was. No matter what the Sacred Land would do, everyone was very sure that they would never let the matter rest. Not to mention losing a half-saint, the Sacred Land absolutely couldn't afford to lose face. However, the Sacred Land was the overlord of Cloud Island. When had they ever been toyed with like this? It was simply a slap in the face in front of everyone. Long family's main hall. The Long family already knew that Longao was a half-saint. So when Longao returned to the Long family, everyone's attitude immediately took a 180-degree turn. Even the Long family's #1 expert, Long Jian, personally came out to welcome him. Longao didn't like this very much. He coldly entered Longheng's small courtyard and informed everyone that no matter who it was, no one was allowed to take a step into the small courtyard. If it was the Longao from before, perhaps some people would not put him in their eyes. But now, Longao had killed Zhou Dian and the others with his own strength in front of everyone's eyes. Who in the Long family would be so blind as to provoke this fiend? Everyone was respectful to Longao and didn't dare to slight him. In the small courtyard. Master, I'm really fine. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't sad about losing his left arm. However, Longheng knew very well that his master had killed Zhou Dian and the others in a fit of rage for his sake, including the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Luo, the #1 expert of the Wang clan. His master had done a lot for him. Therefore, no matter how sad he was, Longheng could only swallow his sadness. Give me some peace and quiet. Longao sat on the stool and thought about it quietly. Longheng's left arm was cut off because of him. So, no matter what happened, he had to help Longheng. Dragon Space. Long Fu, my request is simple. I hope that you can help Longheng reattach his severed left arm. Can you do it? In Longao's eyes, Long Fu was omnipotent and omnipotent. But Long Fu shook his head and said, Longheng's left arm can't be reattached. But a spiritual beast's arm can be reattached. This way, his strength will increase. It might not be a bad thing. Reattach a spiritual beast's left arm? Longao thought about it, and couldn't think of any spiritual beast's left arm that would be suitable for Longheng. Master, let me think about it. Don't worry. Longheng's left arm might not be a bad thing. Nodding his head, Longao heaved a sigh of relief after hearing Long Fu's words. But he didn't know how to explain it to Longheng. After leaving the dragon space, Longao came to Longheng's side and said, Longheng, I'm sorry about this. Master, I only have one thing to say. A master for a day is a father for life. Longao was a little touched. After all, it was worth it to have such a disciple. So he said, Longheng, your left arm can be replaced by a spiritual beast's left arm. Moreover, your strength will increase. Are you willing? I'm willing. Longheng didn't even think about it, and directly agreed. Because Longheng knew that since it had already happened, he had to face it calmly. Not to mention, losing a left arm, especially for his master, was worth it in his opinion. Okay, you rest first. I'll refine pills for you. Long Fu had already said that even if he wanted to reattach a spiritual beast's left arm to Long Hun, he would need a lot of pills. Otherwise, the chances of failure would be very high. With Long Ao's current alchemy skills, as long as it wasn't a heaven-defying pill, there shouldn't be any problems. Dusk, Long Family Hall. Patriarch Long, Senior Long, I killed Zhou Dian and the patriarch of the Wang family. If nothing unexpected happens, the sacred ground and Wang Hao will come looking for trouble. So I have a suggestion. Please speak, Master Long, Master Long. Before you speak, I have a question. About a little Wang Hao. Long Bai didn't finish speaking, but the meaning of his words was very clear. In their eyes, Wang Hao was just a little great sovereign. Even without his uncle, he could easily kill Wang Hao. The gap between a great sovereign and a world king was well known. Long Ao smiled helplessly. He wasn't worried about the sacred ground. Instead, he was most worried about Wang Hao. Gentlemen, I can tell you that Wang Hao is far more dangerous than the sacred ground. I can tell you a secret. Have you heard of samsara martial artists? Samsara martial artists? Although Long Jian and Long Bai didn't know what Long Ao meant by this, Long Jian still nodded and said, I've heard rumors. It is said that when a divine way martial artist wants to break through to a higher realm, or is killed, their divine soul can enter the path of samsara. Once they successfully pass through samsara, they can be reincarnated and have a chance to awaken and become a divine way martial artist again. After saying this, Long Jian and Long Bai seemed to have thought of something as shock filled their faces. The two of them looked at Long Ao at the same time and asked in unison, Sect Master Long, could Wang Hao be a reincarnation realm martial practitioner? Long Bai and Long Jian felt a little despair when they saw Long Ao nod his head. Of course they knew what it meant to be a rebirth realm martial practitioner, but the two of them had never imagined that Wang Hao would actually be a rebirth realm martial practitioner. Didn't that mean that Wang Hao would become a powerful divine practitioner the moment he awakened his divine soul? A divine way martial artist. Not to mention the Long family, even the sacred ground could easily destroy them. Master Long, has Wang Hao awakened his divine soul? I fought with Wang Hao before. Now that Wang Hao's cultivation has reached the half-step saint realm, I believe that he should have awakened his divine soul. Therefore, Wang Hao is definitely more dangerous than the sacred ground. What we need to do now is to find Wang Hao as quickly as possible. Chapter 569. Master Long, forgive me for being blunt. A bitter smile appeared on Long Bai's face as he said, If Wang Hao is purposely hiding himself, it will indeed be impossible for us to find him in this vast ocean with countless islands. Long Ao naturally knew what Long Bai meant. The outer seas were too big and there were countless islands that no one knew about. However, Long Ao also knew that Wang Hao was too dangerous. He had to find Wang Hao as soon as possible. Otherwise, once Wang Hao awakened his divine soul and reached the divine way, he would be in big trouble. Moreover, he had basically destroyed the Wang family. It could be said that only one of them could survive. Patriarch Long, we have to find Wang Hao no matter what. I have a plan that we can try. Long Bai and Long Jian were delighted. Of course, they knew that Wang Hao had not truly awakened his divine soul yet. This was the best time to kill him. The consequences would be unimaginable once Wang Hao reached the divine way. After that, the three of them began to discuss how to deal with Wang Hao. The news that Long Ao had killed Zhou Dian and the others had shaken the entire Cloud City. Everyone was talking about it because no one knew where Long Ao had come from. Everyone thought that the sacred grounds would act against Long Ao, but they did not do anything. After Long Ao killed the two experts of the Wang family's status in the Cloud City plummeted. They had already fallen out of the position of the three great families. Next, whether the Wang family could make a comeback or not, everyone was looking forward to it. However, At this time, the Long family suddenly spread the news that Longao had destroyed the Wang family. This news instantly spread throughout Cloud City and even to the surrounding islands. What was the Long family planning? No one knew what the Long family was thinking. Could it be that the Long family and Longao had broken off their relationship? That did not seem very likely. After all, the news that Longao was a half-step sage practitioner had already spread. Unless the Long family had lost their minds, they would definitely cling on to the big tree that was Longao. Half-saint martial artists were the strongest martial artists in Cloud City. Once the Long family obtained the support of Longao, they could destroy the Yi family in minutes and become the absolute overlord of Cloud City. However, it had to be known that Longao had even dared to kill a half-step saint from a holy land. This in itself showed that Longao didn't put a holy land in his eyes at all. The Wang family. Right now, the Wang clan was in an extremely miserable state. The clan head and old ancestor had been killed at the same time, and almost all of the guest elders had left. Without any experts to hold down the fort, the Wang clan's decline was even faster than expected. In the pitch-black night, only the sound of croaking could be heard. At this moment, a figure shot over quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had already entered the Wang family. Wang Hao looked at the desolate clan. His face was extremely gloomy, extremely unsightly. Wang Hao had never thought that Longao would be so ruthless, directly killing 2 experts of the Wang clan, causing the Wang clan to rapidly decline. Longao, just you wait. One day, I will let you know the feeling of living a life worse than death. Wang Hao, there's no need to wait. I want to experience the feeling of living a life worse than death now. Hearing the voice behind him, Wang Hao didn't feel the slightest bit surprised. It was as if he had already guessed that Longao would appear. Longao, you shouldn't have destroyed my Wang clan. Wang Hao, you have to understand one thing. I am dealing with the Holy Land. It was the Wang clan that interfered with the grudge between me and the Holy Land. I was just defending myself. Moreover, you and I have already fought a life and death battle. No matter what, one of us has to die. You want to start a war here? Why not? Just now, you said that you would let me live a life worse than death. Since that's the case, I will give you this opportunity. Ha ha ha, Longao, I will make you regret this. After speaking, Wang Hao turned around and quickly left. In a few leaps, Wang Hao's figure had already disappeared without a trace. Longao didn't chase after him. The corner of his mouth slowly curved into a cold smile. At this moment, a figure walked out of the darkness. It was Longheng. Master, will Wang Hao really go to the clan? 100%. Wang Hao knows that he is no match for me. Moreover, my base camp is not on Cloud Island. This way, Wang Hao can only attack the Long clan. In the entire Long clan, no one is a match for Wang Hao. Therefore, I am certain that Wang Hao will definitely slaughter everyone in the Long clan to avenge the Wang clan. Hearing his master's words, Longheng was very worried. He asked, Master, what should we do now? I have already set up a formation in the Long clan. As long as Wang Hao dares to step into the Long clan, I will not let him return. Formation? Master set up a formation in the Long clan? Longheng really didn't know about this. Because of this, Longheng was very shocked. This was because he had never thought that his master was not only an alchemist, but also a formation master. Moreover, he was a sage-to-be warrior. If a person could master one of the 3, he would be a genius. However, if a person was proficient in all 3, it wasn't a matter of being a genius. It was a matter of whether his master was human or not. Longheng didn't ask because Longao was leading him in the direction of the Long clan. Longheng already knew that Wang Hao was a reincarnation realm cultivator. If he couldn't kill Wang Hao this time, then once Wang Hao became a divine realm cultivator in the future, not only would he and his master suffer, even the Long clan would suffer. Success or failure depended on this one move. The Long clan was very quiet. It was pitch black and it was so dark that one couldn't even see their own fingers. Just as Longao had guessed, Wan Hao would definitely slaughter the Long clan in order to take revenge. Wan Hao was very confident that with his current strength, as long as he didn't meet a Saint Realm cultivator, he could kill anyone he wanted. Longao, I will make you pay for your ignorance. Even though he was a reincarnated body, the Wang clan was still his clan. Now that the Wang clan had been destroyed, Wan Hao would naturally take revenge. Perhaps it was because he was too eager to take revenge, but Wan Hao didn't realize that something was wrong. He didn't even think about it before he flew into the Long clan. However, at this time, the entire Long clan was suddenly brightly lit. Long Bai and Long Jian were grinning at Wan Hao. Wan Hao, it's already so late. What business do you have with the Long clan? Wan Hao instantly understood what was going on when he saw that everyone was standing around him. However, Wan Hao's expression was still indifferent as he said, Long Jian, Long Bai, I didn't think that the Long clan had long been plotting to destroy the Wang clan and take over Cloud City. Long Bai and Long Jian had indeed thought of this, but they naturally wouldn't admit it. Long Bai laughed coldly and said, Wan Hao, cut the crap. Since you're here, you can stay. Ha ha ha, Long Bai, you think too highly of yourself. With just the two of you. As a half-step Saint Realm cultivator, Wan Hao didn't fear anyone because there wasn't a single illusionary Divine Realm cultivator in the entire Long clan. Chapter 570. Wan Hao didn't care about the people in front of him at all. This was the confidence of a half-step saint. Moreover, Wan Hao was a rebirth realm cultivator. However, Long Jian and the others had all turned around and left at this time. Wan Hao naturally wouldn't let them go, but the scene around him suddenly changed. Wan Hao was the only one in this empty space. A formation? Wan Hao was very surprised. Formation masters were very rare on this continent, 1 in 10,000. Because of this, Wan Hao never imagined that the Long family had a hidden formation master, and that the formation he set up would be so powerful. Wan Hao's expression was extremely serious. Although he had lived 2 lives and was very confident, he was still not a formation master. He knew nothing about formations. Wan Hao, welcome to my formation, said Yi Futian. When he heard Longao's voice, Wan Hao instantly understood everything. So this was Longao's doing. Only now did Wan Hao realize that he had been in his opponent's trap all this time. Longao, you don't need to be so arrogant. One day, I will tear you to pieces. Wan Hao wasn't afraid at all because he didn't believe that Longao was proficient in both paths. Because of this, Wan Hao began to break the formation. He used his powerful strength to attack the empty space around him. However, Wan Hao discovered that the entire space was like a ball of cotton. No matter how hard he tried, his surroundings wouldn't move. Wan Hao, you can try to comprehend your soul inside this formation. If you can awaken it and break through to the divine way, you will naturally be able to leave this place. Wan Hao didn't say anything, but he had the urge to curse. Soul my ass. He had used the remnants of his soul earlier, so it was very difficult for him to comprehend his soul now. Furthermore, comprehending the soul wasn't something that could be done in a day. The Long family. Master Long, can this formation really trap Wan Hao? From the outside, the entire formation looked like it was covered in a ball of light. Although Long Bai and Long Jian were very surprised, they both knew that Longao was no ordinary person. Otherwise, how could Longao be so young? Not only had he broken through to the half-step Saint realm, but he was also proficient in the Tao of formations. The Tao of alchemy and the Tao of arrays shared the same principle. They were both extremely rare and even more rare than the Tao of martial artists. Longao only smiled and did not say anything. He was very confident in the formation he had set up. Master, now that Wan Hao is dead, the Holy Land will definitely not let this matter rest. How should we deal with this? Seeing that Wan Hao was like a turtle in a jar, Long Heng was most worried about the sacred ground. No matter what, the sacred ground was the true overlord in the hearts of everyone on Cloud Island. Even if his master was powerful, it was unrealistic for him to fight against the entire sacred ground alone. How could Longao not know what Longheng was thinking? As for the Holy Land, Longao hadn't come up with a better plan for the time being. However, there was only one thing he needed to do right now, and that was to kill Wang Hao. In Long Ao's eyes, Wang Hao was far more dangerous than the Holy Land. Wang Hao, a rebirth realm warrior, had already begun to awaken his divine soul. No one knew when Wang Hao would succeed. However, once Wang Hao fully awakened his divine soul, he would become a supreme Tao expert. At that time, who would be able to defeat him? Seeing that his master didn't say anything, Longheng knew that his master seemed to be very wary of Wang Hao. Longheng couldn't figure out why his master was still acting this way since Wang Hao was already trapped in the formation. Wang Hao is not simple. In the formation. After attacking for a while, Wang Hao realized that it was as if he had been attacking cotton. He didn't continue to attack. Instead, he stood quietly in the formation and carefully observed the situation of the formation. Although Wang Hao didn't understand the formation, he was a rebirth realm warrior. In the end, he had no choice but to use the spiritual remnant consciousness. At this moment, Wang Hao was extremely depressed because he had used the spiritual remnant consciousness twice. Even if he could leave the formation alive, it would be 10 times harder for him to comprehend the divine soul and break through to the peak of the supreme Tao realm in the future. In other words, it would take him a year to comprehend the divine soul and break through to the supreme Tao realm. After using the spiritual remnant consciousness twice, he would need 10 years or even 100 years to comprehend the divine soul. Longao, I will definitely make you pay the price. After saying that, the spiritual remnant consciousness in Wang Hao's body suddenly burst out a powerful supreme Tao aura and directly hit the surrounding formation. Although the illusory formation set up by Longao was powerful, the difference between the two was too big. Once Wang Hao used the spiritual remnant consciousness, the aura released was the supreme Tao aura. Could the formation withstand the supreme Tao aura? Boom! With a loud bang, the light scattered and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Looking at Wang Hao who shot out from the formation, Longao didn't hesitate at all. With a big stride, his whole body rushed out. Longao already knew whether Wang Hao could break the formation or not. If it was an ordinary warrior, he had full confidence that he could kill the enemy with the help of the formation. However, Wang Hao's situation was different. Longao had already guessed that Wang Hao would definitely use the spiritual remnant consciousness. At that time, it would be difficult for the formation to trap Wang Hao. Although Wang Hao had broken the formation, Longao wasn't worried at all. As the saying goes, everything has its pros and cons. Although Wang Hao could break the formation with the help of the spiritual remnant consciousness, it would also leave behind a hidden danger. At the very least, it would be many times more difficult for Wang Hao to comprehend the spiritual remnant consciousness and break through to the supreme Tao realm. Longao was very clear that it was almost impossible to kill Wang Hao. However, the time Wang Hao needed to comprehend the spiritual remnant consciousness was very beneficial to him. Because Longao was very confident in himself. 10 years, at most 20 years, Longao was confident that he could break through to the supreme Tao realm. Wang Hao and Longao's figures left quickly one after the other. Longheng and the others were helpless. However, Wang Hao had suffered such a big loss this time. They believed that he wouldn't come back in a short time. Longheng and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. However, the whole Long family was still worried. Although Wang Hao had left, there was still the sacred ground. In the Long family's opinion, the sacred ground was far more dangerous than Wang Hao. At least in this situation. Longao. Without waiting for Wang Hao to finish speaking, Longao directly slashed out a blade light. Since they had already reached this stage, it was useless to talk nonsense. It was better to have some practical actions. It made Wang Hao want to curse his father, but he was powerless. Without the help of the spiritual remnant consciousness, Wang Hao knew that it would be difficult for him to be a match for his opponent. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. As long as he could stay alive, once he comprehended the spiritual remnant consciousness and broke through to the supreme Tao realm, It would be a matter of minutes for him to kill Longao. Chapter 571. Wanhao didn't choose to fight Longao head-on. Wanhao's speed was fast, but it wasn't easy to get rid of Longao. Just like that, the two of them shot toward the city gate one after the other. Longao was very depressed because he didn't know what method Wanhao used to directly disappear without a trace. As expected, just after leaving Cloud City, before Longao could react, Wanhao's body disappeared without a trace again, as if he had disappeared into thin air. Standing quietly under the city wall, Longao looked around coldly, feeling the aura in the surroundings, trying to find Wanhao, but in the end, he could only sigh. Wanhao, I know you haven't left. Although I can't sense your existence, I can tell you clearly that you can only be a coward for the rest of your life. In my eyes, a Supreme Tao reincarnation martial artist is worse than trash, a coward. Provocation. Longao hoped to use provocation to lure Wanhao out, but the end result was that no matter how he provoked, Wanhao was like a stone sinking into the sea, not responding. Coward! After Longao finished speaking, he turned around and returned to Cloud City, because he knew that no matter what he did, Wanhao wouldn't appear. Since that was the case, why should he waste more time? If it was the previous Wanhao, Longao might be very worried, but Wanhao had used the remnant consciousness of the spirit twice. It was very difficult to comprehend the spirit and achieve Supreme Tao. Because of this, Longao knew that he had enough time to prepare. Not long after Longao returned to Cloud City, Wanhao's figure suddenly appeared from the night. Wanhao had a martial skill that could hide in the night, and it was very difficult for anyone to find his trace. It was by relying on this martial skill that Wanhao dodged Longao's pursuit time and time again. At this moment, Wanhao's face was gloomy to the extreme, as ugly as it could be. His family was destroyed, and he was almost killed. All of this was because of one person. Longao, I will come back sooner or later. Wanhao did not act rashly because he knew that unless his soul could awaken once more, it would be very difficult for him to take revenge. Forcefully suppressing the anger and killing intent in his heart, Wanhao turned around and quickly left. In a short while, Wanhao's figure had already disappeared into the boundless night. After returning to the Long family, Longao didn't talk about this matter. Long Hung and the others also didn't ask about it because Long Jian and the others knew what to ask and what not to ask. Senior Long Jian, I'll have to trouble you with something. Please speak, Master Dragon. Long Jian was startled. He didn't dare to casually accept Longao's salute. What kind of joke was this? Longao was a genuine semi-sage expert. He was the most powerful expert in Yun City. Long Jian could imagine that Longao could destroy the entire Long family at any time if he wanted to. Senior Long Jian, bring me a letter to the Sacred Land. Master Dragon, forgive me for asking, but I believe the Sacred Land won't let go of the grudge between you and the Sacred Land. If you take the initiative to provoke the Sacred Land now, once the Sacred Land really goes crazy. Although Long Jian didn't finish his words, the meaning in his words was very clear. How could Longao not know what Long Jian meant? Long Jian was afraid that he would send a letter of challenge to the Sacred Land. He smiled and said, Don't worry, I'm preparing to leave Yun Island soon. Before I leave, I'll completely resolve the grudge between me and the Sacred Land so as to avoid unnecessary trouble for the Long family. Master Dragon, you're leaving? Long Jian was startled when he heard that Longao was leaving. No matter what, Longao had killed Zhou Dian and had completely provoked the Sacred Land. Once Longao left Yun City, the Sacred Land could only vent their anger on the Long family. Taking a step back, even if Longao temporarily resolved the grudge between him and the Sacred Land and left Yun City, what if the Sacred Land went back on their words? Would Longao be able to resist the Sacred Land? Long Jian hesitated as if he wanted to say something. In the end, he didn't say anything because he didn't know how to say it. Senior Long Jian, I know what you're worried about. Don't worry, even if I leave, I'll leave a sacred beast for the Long family. By then, even if the Sacred Land goes back on their words, with the help of the sacred beast, you can safely leave Yun City. Sacred beast? Long Jian was extremely excited when he heard the words, sacred beast. Of course, he knew what a sacred beast represented. A sacred beast was comparable to an illusionary divine martial artist, or even more powerful. Thank you, Senior. Nodding his head, Longao took Longheng and left the Cloud City. When they arrived at the sea, he said straightforwardly, Longheng, I'm going to kill a saint beast now and refine it into a corpse slave. At that time, even if I leave, with the help of the corpse slave, the Long family will be safe. Although Longheng was reluctant, he didn't say much. He nodded and said, Thank you, Master. You don't have to do this. I'll be back in the future and I'll still need your help. Master, don't worry. I'll work even harder in my cultivation. The next time I see you, I'll be an illusionary divine martial artist. Longao nodded his head approvingly. He realized that Longheng seemed to have changed. Suddenly, Longao took out the green destiny divine sword and said, This sword originally belonged to Wang Hao. However, take it as a gift from me. Use it well. I can tell that this green destiny divine sword is a divine weapon and will be of great help to your cultivation in the future. Longheng took the green destiny divine sword from his master's hands. He would be lying if he said that he didn't like it. Longheng was excited because everyone in Yun City knew about the legend of the green Hades divine sword. It was this divine sword that allowed the Wang family patriarch to be invincible in the world. Longheng had never thought that he would be able to obtain the green destiny divine sword one day. Even he couldn't believe it, let alone others. Longheng knew very well that all of this was given to him by his master. Master, are you really going out to sea? There's no need for that. Tell me, are there any stronger sacred beasts around Yun City? Sacred beast, golden tiger shark. Where is it? Longao was elated. Sacred beasts were different from ordinary spiritual beasts. They weren't easy to find. Master, according to legends, there's an island less than 1,000 meters away from Yun City. It's called the Spiritual Beast Island and there are countless spiritual beasts on it. Back then, an elder witnessed a golden tiger shark guarding this island. A golden tiger shark guarding the gate? Longao was shocked. He knew very well what a sacred beast represented. It was also because of this that he had never thought that a sacred beast would guard the gate. Was this true? Chapter 572. Master, Spiritual Beast Island is only a legend. No one dares to enter because those who enter will never come out alive. Longheng nodded his head. Longao could almost imagine that there must be even more powerful spirit beasts on the Spirit Beast Island. Otherwise, a sacred beast like the golden tiger shark would not be guarding the gate. The 8 realms of the illusionary divine stage were ranked from lowest to highest as the half-sage stage, earth sage stage, sky sage stage, sage king stage, sage emperor stage, sage venerable stage and sage emperor stage. There were 8 levels of holy beasts. In ascending order, they were level 1 holy beast, level 2 holy beast, level 3 holy beast, level 4 holy beast, level 5 holy beast, level 6 holy beast, level 7 holy beast, level 8 holy beast. Longao did not know what level of holy beast this golden tiger shark guarding the gate was. The reason was simple. If the golden tiger shark was a level 1 holy beast, there might not be a great emperor spiritual beast on Spiritual Beast Island. However, if the golden tiger shark was a level 8 holy beast, Longao was sure that there would be at least a great emperor spiritual beast on Spiritual Beast Island. Longao did not ask Longheng because he knew that Longheng did not know what level the golden tiger shark was. Go back and cultivate. I will be back in 3 days. Master, I will go with you. Longao waved his hand and said, You are too weak. You will not be of much help. As he spoke, Longao stepped onto the ship that the Long family had already prepared and slowly sailed towards the Spiritual Beast Island. On the entire ship, other than him, there was only one other person left. Spiritual Beast Island was one of the countless islands in the outer sea. Spiritual Beast Island was filled with spiritual beasts. It could be said that it was a paradise for spiritual beasts. No one dared to enter. The boat sailed very quickly. In just half a day, they were already 1,000 meters away from Spiritual Beast Island. Senior Longao, I know. You can leave now. Thank you. The person immediately rowed the boat and left. Longao was not angry at all. No matter what, the legend of Spiritual Beast Island was there. It was normal that no one dared to go near it. From afar, Longao could already see the undulating waves of islands. According to Longao's description of the Spirit Beast Island, Longao recognized the Spirit Beast Island at first glance. When they were about 30 meters away from the Spirit Beast Island, horrifying waves came crashing over. If it wasn't for Longao's timely resistance, the ship would have been destroyed. Golden Tiger Shark. Just as Longheng had said, there was a saint beast, the Golden Tiger Shark, guarding the Spirit Beast Island. A huge shark suddenly appeared not far away at this time. It was as big as the entire ship. Longao had already sensed that this Golden Tiger Shark in front of him was a first-level holy beast. It was also the so-called semi-sage level martial artist. Longao had sensed that this Golden Tiger Shark was a first-level holy beast. Who are you? Leave now, or I'll devour you. The Golden Tiger Shark spoke. Longao was very surprised. Under normal circumstances, even a holy beast could not speak. However, a few spirit beasts could. As for the divine beasts, almost all of them could. Even Long Chang, who had broken through to become a first-grade holy beast, could not speak. After a short moment of surprise, Longao replied, I want to enter Spiritual Beast Island to do something. I hope you can make it convenient for me. In fact, Longao did not fancy the Golden Tiger Shark at all. No matter what, the Golden Tiger Shark was a holy beast in the sea. Even if it could go ashore, it was definitely not as good as a land holy beast. It could be said that the Golden Tiger Shark's strength could be doubled in the sea. However, once it landed, its strength would be limited. As for land holy beasts, if they entered the sea, they would also be limited. This was something that complemented each other. Longao was very afraid of the Golden Tiger Shark. If it was on land, he could easily eliminate the Golden Tiger Shark. But in the sea, Spiritual Beast Island is an important place. Humans are not allowed to enter. Scram! Hearing Longao's words, Longao's expression turned unsightly. It was simply refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Since that was the case, Longao did not continue speaking nonsense. The aura from his body was like a tornado, ruthlessly suppressing the Golden Tiger Shark. The Golden Tiger Shark did not expect the other party to take the initiative to attack. However, as a sea holy beast, the Golden Tiger Shark's strength was obvious. After it reacted, it angrily attacked. Longao did not dare to be careless because the Golden Tiger Shark could borrow the power of the sea. In order to end the battle quickly and enter Spiritual Beast Island as soon as possible, he directly used his self-created martial technique, Sorrow of Heaven and Earth. The horrifying tornado instantly engulfed the sea. The tornado brought along the sea waves like a tsunami, ruthlessly attacking the Golden Tiger Shark like a storm. Longao would not give the Golden Tiger Shark any chance to catch its breath. He immediately took out the dragon's seal and ruthlessly shot it at the Golden Tiger Shark. Ah! A miserable shriek resounded. Although the dragon's seal was not as strong as Xiao Chen's, it was still extremely hard. This attack ruthlessly smashed the Golden Tiger Shark's head, creating a bloody hole. Longao rejoiced in his heart. He did not hesitate, and immediately followed up with another attack, smashing again and again. Human you! Without waiting for the Golden Tiger Shark to speak, Longao had already ruthlessly smashed out once again. Borrowing the might of the absolute sorrow of the heavens and earth, as well as the suppression of the imposing manner, the dragon's seal in Longao's hand was practically 100% hit. In just a few minutes the Golden Tiger Shark was smashed at least a few hundred times. Its entire body was filled with bloody holes. Its blood dyed the sea red. It was a ghastly sight. Seeing the golden tiger shark fleeing, Longao did not give chase. With his strength, it was impossible for him to stand on the surface of the sea unless he flew. However, flying in the sea, who knew what he would encounter? However, there were less than 30 meters left. Longao prepared to fly over. Walking in the air, Longao's figure quickly shot towards Spirit Beast Island. Spirit Beast Island. Longao looked around. There was a dense forest everywhere. Ancient trees covered the sky, giving people a very oppressive feeling. Master, you have to be careful. The treasure aura you sensed from the Primal Chaos Stone tablet is here. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was first cold. Then, he was pleasantly surprised. His luck was too good. He only planned to come to Spirit Beast Island to kill a few saint beasts and refine them into corpse slaves to protect the Long family. But the result was, Longao never thought that the treasure aura he sensed from the Primal Chaos Stone tablet would be here. Longao could imagine that a treasure that could resonate with the Primal Chaos Stone tablet was definitely the strongest divine tool in the world. Could it be another Primal Chaos Stone tablet? But one had to know that there were a total of 12 Primal Chaos Stone tablets in the world. He had only obtained one of them. There were still 11 Primal Chaos Stone tablets whose whereabouts were unknown. Perhaps they had already been obtained by others. If he could obtain a second Primal Chaos Stone tablet, just thinking about it made him excited. Chapter 573. He seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Long Fu said, Master, the treasure on Spirit Beast Island shouldn't be the Primal Chaos Stone tablet. Of course I know. Long Fu, can you sense the treasure on Spirit Beast Island? Shaking his head, Long Fu said, Master, this treasure is enveloped by a powerful energy. I can't sense it at all. Then can you sense its exact location? I can't sense it. However, Master, you can try to sense the Primal Chaos Stone tablet and find this treasure. Longao didn't continue asking because Long Fu couldn't sense the treasure's aura. Then, there was only one possibility. This treasure was too powerful. The more it was like this, the more Longao looked forward to it. However, Longao didn't immediately search for the treasure. Instead, he prepared to kill the sacred beast and refine it into a corpse slave. Longao had already thought about it. He had to return to 9 provinces as soon as possible. The longer he delayed, the more worried Longao became. Especially for the safety of his family and sect. Jade-eyed Fire Lion. Seeing the fiery red figure flash by, Longao was overjoyed. Longao had some understanding of the blue-eyed Fire Lion. If this kind of spirit beast was placed in the 9 prefectures, it would definitely be an extremely rare species. Longao had never thought that he would encounter a blue-eyed Fire Lion in this place. Not letting go of this opportunity, Longao immediately chased after it. With Longao's speed, he obviously couldn't catch up to the jade-eyed Fire Lion. In the end, he had no choice but to use spatial teleportation. After 2 spatial teleportations, Longao had already caught up to the jade-eyed Fire Lion. Without a doubt, Longao immediately attacked. Blood-drinking saber light fiercely chopped out. In the blink of an eye, Longao and the jade-eyed Fire Lion were already engaged in a fierce battle. They went back and forth, fighting to the death. Originally, Longao thought that killing the jade-eyed Fire Lion was a sure thing. However, after the real battle, Longao shockingly discovered that the jade-eyed Fire Lion's strength exceeded his imagination. Innate ability, Dragon Roar. At the same time, a dragon shadow appeared behind Longao. Then, the blue-eyed Fire Lion was locked in place, and time began to flow backward. Longao didn't give up this rare opportunity. He punched the blue-eyed Fire Lion's head. When the divine dragon arm smashed down, the blue-eyed Fire Lion was directly smashed to death. He heaved a long sigh of relief. Longao knew very well that if it weren't for his innate ability, Dragon Roar, it wouldn't have been easy to kill the blue-eyed Fire Lion. He sent the blue-eyed Fire Lion's corpse and soul to Long Fu. Before coming here, Longao had already told Long Fu that no matter what, he had to refine the sacred beast corpse slave as fast as possible. Only then could he leave with a peace of mind. In fact, Longao knew very well that the blood pool was different now. Before the primordial divine dragon died, it had divided its strength into two. One was for himself, and the other was for Long Chang. As for the dragon blood, it had all flowed into the blood pool. In other words, most of the blood in the blood pool belonged to the primordial divine dragon. As for what the blood pool was, Longao still didn't know. Long Fu also didn't say. Since the blue-eyed fire lion was here, then he might as well kill a few more sacred beasts. After all, the more sacred beast corpse slaves he had, the more assured the Long family's safety would be. At this time, Longao's expression changed. This was because he could feel the Chaos Stone tablet in his dantian begin to stir again. Longao stood there without moving. This was because he knew that once the Chaos Stone tablet appeared, he would still be frozen. Since that was the case, why should he waste any more time? But Longao waited for several minutes and the Chaos Stone tablet still didn't appear. This caused Longao to feel a headache. Just what did the Chaos Stone tablet want? Longao quietly sensed the Chaos Stone tablet in his dantian. But at this moment, the Chaos Stone tablet was quietly lying in his dantian, not moving at all. It didn't show any signs of wanting to come out. What the hell was the Chaos Stone tablet doing? The Chaos Stone tablet completely confused Longao. He didn't know what the Chaos Stone tablet was trying to do. But since the Chaos Stone tablet didn't move, he had more important things to do. He immediately began to search for other sacred beasts. Spirit Beast Island was boundless. Although there were spirit beasts, sacred beasts were also rare. Most of them were spirit beasts. Just as Longao was searching for sacred beasts with all his might, he suddenly let out a painful roar. Before Longao could react, he fainted. Longao had just fainted when the Chaos Stone tablet suddenly appeared. The small stone tablet instantly expanded 100 times, covering Longao. At this time, a trace of energy appeared from the Chaos Stone tablet, silently entering Longao's body. Within the dragon seal space. Although he didn't go out, Long Fu obviously knew what was happening. His face finally had some joy. He said to himself, I really didn't expect that the Chaos Stone tablet would allow Master to sense Master. Fusing with the Chaos Stone tablet, Master's cultivation speed will greatly increase. 10 years is enough. 10 years. If Long Fu's words were heard by others, who knew if they would be scared silly? From a half-step sacred martial artist to divine Tao, even a super genius would need 100 years or even several hundred years. But Longao only needed 10 years. What kind of concept was this? For Longao to be recognized by the Chaos Stone tablet, he could be considered extremely lucky. But it had to be known that Longao sensing the Chaos Stone tablet, and the Chaos Stone tablet recognizing Longao were two completely different matters. The meaning was also different. The Chaos Stone tablet had voluntarily chosen to recognize Longao. Then, when Longao fused with it, it would be much easier. This was something that Longao had never imagined. Longao quietly lay on the ground, his legs tightly shut. The Chaos Stone tablet emitted a trace of energy that continuously entered Longao's body. Unknowingly, many spirit beasts had gathered around. There were even sacred beasts. But without exception, all the spirit beasts and sacred beasts were frozen in place by the Chaos Stone tablet. They couldn't move at all. They could only stare in horror, not knowing what was happening. The Chaos Stone tablet recognized Longao. This continued for around 2 hours. Longao slowly opened his eyes and looked around suspiciously. Before Longao could figure out what had just happened, he was given a fright. Turning around, Longao stood up from the ground and vigilantly looked around. Longao was surprised. This was because he discovered that all the spirits around him, including the sacred beasts, seemed to be a bit dumb. It was as if they had been beaten into idiots. What had just happened? But Longao didn't give up on this opportunity. He didn't care about the ordinary spirit beasts. Longao shot towards the two remaining sacred beasts. He effortlessly killed them and sent their corpses and souls into the dragon seal space. Longao roughly decided that if there was a chance and his luck was good, he would refine 10 sacred beast corpse slaves for the Long family. This way, even a holy land wouldn't dare to provoke the Long family. Chapter 574. After successfully killing the 3 saint beasts, Longao did not relax at all. Longao did not know that the primal chaos stone tablet had recognized him as its master. Following that, Longao focused on killing saint beasts. In a short 3 days, he had successfully killed stone saint beasts. However, they were all level 1 saint beasts. Even so, Longao was still satisfied. Because the Long family had stone saint beast corpse slaves, even the Holy Lands would be wary of them. After dealing with the saint beast corpse slaves, Longao did not immediately leave Spirit Beast Mountain. Instead, he prepared to search for this so-called treasure. What a joke. To be able to activate the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, one could easily guess what this treasure was. Longao held an attitude of trying to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. His expression changed slightly. Longao thought that he was hallucinating. After sensing it again, he was pleasantly surprised to find that for some unknown reason, he seemed to be able to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet's response. Since this was the case, Longao did not dare to be careless. He immediately began to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Previously, the primordial divine dragon had said that the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets were the strongest existences in the world. If he wanted to become a peerless expert, he had to first sense the supreme martial skills within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, what disappointed Longao was that although he could sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, he could not sense the martial skills within. There was no other way. Longao also knew that wanting to sense a martial skill was not something that could be done overnight. Longao continued to comprehend quietly, hoping that he would be able to comprehend some clues from the Chaos Stone Tablet. As expected, Longao quietly sensed. From the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, he sensed a trace of aura. It was to the left. As for the specific location, he did not know. His heart was filled with joy. Longao immediately sensed the direction and immediately headed towards the left. In front of a huge stone wall. It's here! Longao had been trying to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. At this point, the aura of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was very strong. Longao was very clear that the so-called treasure was definitely below the stone wall. Following that, Longao started searching and found a passageway before long. Overjoyed, Longao carefully entered the tunnel and slowly walked toward it. Outside the passageway was a huge cave. The entire cave was obviously a natural type. Longao had just stepped into the cave when he immediately opened his eyes wide with an expression of disbelief. A huge dragon. 5-clawed golden dragon. It turned out that there was a huge skeleton of a 5-clawed golden dragon in the middle of the cave. Even though it was just a skeleton, the aura it emitted was enough to destroy everything. Of course, Longao knew about the 5-clawed golden dragon. As one of the most powerful races of the dragon clan, the 5-clawed golden dragon was incomparably powerful. There had even been a dragon god. One could imagine what the 5-clawed golden dragon represented. Looking at the skeleton in front of him, Longao suddenly realized something. Until now, he still didn't know what race Longchong was. The 5-clawed golden dragon was the most powerful dragon of the dragon clan in the world. Longao found it hard to imagine why the skeleton of a 5-clawed golden dragon would appear in this cave. Not daring to be careless, Longao carefully looked around. Because Longao didn't dare to imagine what kind of place this cave was. Since there was a skeleton of a 5-clawed golden dragon, it seemed to know something. Inside the dragon seal space. Long Fu, can you sense what kind of danger is in this cave? Longao trusted Long Fu, but Long Fu's expression was slightly grave. This was the first time such a situation had happened to Long Fu. Because of this, Longao felt that something was wrong. Master, you should leave this place quickly. With your current strength, it's impossible to obtain the things here. Why is that? The more Long Fu acted like this, the more curious Longao was. Master, the five-clawed golden dragon you just saw was second only to the old master, but it died here. Do you know why? Needless to say, Longao naturally knew. It wanted to seize the treasures here and died here. Master, I can tell you this. If this five-clawed golden dragon didn't die, then once it broke through, it would be comparable to the old master. But because it found this place, it unfortunately fell. Longao was shocked. He never thought that the five-clawed golden dragon would be so powerful. Longao naturally knew the strength of the primordial divine dragon. Even a five-clawed golden dragon died here. Longao muttered in his heart. Long Fu, tell me the truth. Long Fu naturally knew his master's character very well. Long Fu thought for a moment and finally said, Master, since you want to know, then I'll tell you. But you have to promise me that no matter what happens, you are not allowed to touch the things here. Do you understand? Seeing Long Fu speak so solemnly, Longao nodded and said, I know. Master, I believe you should know that the heavenly Tao, as the strongest martial artist in the world, possesses the power of the source energy. Longao didn't know what Long Fu meant. What kind of power did the heavenly Tao have? What does that have to do with you? Could it be that there was source energy in this cave? Longao wasn't a fool. In fact, he was very smart. He instantly understood the meaning of Long Fu's words. Long Fu nodded and said, Master, I believe you have already guessed it. That's right, there is source energy here. Once you touch it, the heavenly Tao will instantly know. No matter who it is, the heavenly Tao will kill them. Long Fu, are you saying that in the entire martial heaven continent, only the heavenly Tao possesses source energy? That's right. Back then, it was precisely because the two old masters discovered the source energy that they were hunted down by the heavenly Tao. In the end, they died. If the two old masters had been able to obtain source energy, then the heavenly Tao wouldn't be the only one who had the final say in this world. So that's how it was. Longao was very much looking forward to source energy. Long Fu had just said that in the entire world, only the heavenly Tao possessed this kind of power. If he obtained it, wouldn't he become an existence on the level of the heavenly Tao? If that was the case, then killing the heavenly Tao wouldn't be difficult. Seeming to think of something, Longao asked, Long Fu, according to what you said, there are many places in this world that possess source energy? Exactly. However, Master, each source energy has a clone of the heavenly Tao guarding it. So no matter who it is, it's impossible for them to obtain source energy. So Master, you should leave as soon as possible. Although Long Fu did not finish his words, the meaning in his words was already very clear. Of course, Longao could understand, but the power of the origin could help him achieve the strength of the heavenly Tao. If he chose to give up, he was really unwilling. Chapter 575. This was Longao's personality. Master. Waving his hand, Longao said with a firm expression, Long Fu, since I've already agreed to avenge the primordial divine dragon, I have to arm myself. Therefore, I have to obtain the origin energy. Before Long Fu could speak, Longao continued, I believe you should know about the primordial divine dragon and Long Tian. If they had fused with the origin energy, it's really hard to say who would have won the battle back then. Long Fu seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he could only sigh. This was because his master was right. The reason why the heavenly Tao was the number one person in the world was because it had fused with the origin energy. The heavenly Tao was afraid that others would fuse with the origin energy and surpass him in strength. Therefore, he used his clone to protect the origin energy and cut off everyone's chances of fusing with the origin energy. There's no need to say more about the heavenly Tao's strength. If I can't fuse with the origin energy, I won't be able to take revenge. Master, I know what you mean, but the heavenly Tao's clone is guarding this place. Once you touch the origin energy, the heavenly Tao will immediately know. Even if we have a way to restrain the clone, can you fight against the heavenly Tao? Longao did not speak and chose to remain silent. In his mind, he thought of countless possibilities. The worst was to be killed by the heavenly Tao's clone or the heavenly Tao himself. However, Longao knew that he still had a 1% chance. Once he succeeded in obtaining the origin energy, he would have the capital to grow and fight against the heavenly Tao. Continue? Give up? For a moment, Longao did not know how to choose. After all, opportunities and dangers coexisted. All along, Longao did not believe that a pie would fall from the sky. Long Fu, I want to know where the origin energy is. Master, have you really decided? You know my character. Nodding, although Long Fu was very worried about his master, he was full of praise. He said, Master, the origin energy is in the cave. As long as you can break through the space, you can obtain the origin energy. Longao was not worried about this at all because the blood-sucking broadsword was enough to split open space. Master, since you want to take the risk, we have to make a long-term plan. Long Fu, do you have a way? Master, you saw the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon just now. We can use the skeleton to lure away the heavenly Tao avatar. Once you obtain the origin energy, you must leave this place as quickly as possible. If you are careless, the heavenly Tao will descend. Master, it will be very difficult for you to leave. Regarding this point, Longao naturally knew it clearly. Longao didn't dwell on these issues, because success depended on luck as well as ability. Long Fu, I'm very curious about something. Once I break open the space, will I directly devour the origin energy, or will I do something else? You can't devour it directly. Master, with your current physical body and strength, you can't devour the power of origin. Otherwise, there's only one outcome. You'll explode and die. Then what should I do? Master, how about this? In a moment, I will arrange an aura in your dantian. As long as you can guide the origin energy into your dantian, I have a way to temporarily trap it. As for what will happen in the future, we'll talk about it after we've settled it. Okay. Longao left the dragon's seal space and looked at the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon in front of him. According to Long Fu, the soul of the five-clawed golden dragon had already fallen. However, this body was incomparably powerful. As long as he could drive this five-clawed golden dragon and refine it into a corpse demon, its power would be unimaginable. However, he had to use the five-clawed golden dragon to lure away the heavenly Tao avatar. Only then would he have a chance to obtain the origin energy. In the remaining time, Long Fu refined the five-clawed golden dragon into a corpse demon, while Longao cultivated quietly. As long as Long Fu succeeded, it would be time for him to make a move. After 3 whole days, Long Fu barely managed to refine it. Furthermore, he even used the soul of a saint beast. After looking deeply at the cave, Longao hid. At this moment, the five-clawed golden dragon that had fallen suddenly moved and began to attack the space in the cave. The soul of the five-clawed golden dragon wasn't strong, but its body was enough to contend against the defense of any giant dragon. The sudden collision of the five-clawed golden dragon caused a cry of surprise. Following that, a figure in black suddenly appeared in the cave. It was the heavenly Tao avatar. The heavenly Tao had many avatars that guarded various origin lands. Every avatar of the heavenly Tao was incomparably powerful. According to the heavenly Tao himself, every avatar of the heavenly Tao was comparable to an existence like Long Tian. What kind of concept was this? Although the heavenly Tao's words were a bit exaggerated, from another perspective, it could be seen that every avatar of the heavenly Tao was incomparably powerful. At the very least, they could kill the five-clawed golden dragon. Otherwise, the heavenly Tao avatar wouldn't be able to guard this origin lands. Looking at the five-clawed golden dragon that was constantly attacking the surrounding space, the heavenly Tao avatar's expression was very cold. He snorted coldly. Following that, the heavenly Tao avatar suddenly made a move and forcefully suppressed the five-clawed golden dragon. But at this time, the five-clawed golden dragon didn't continue to attack. Instead, it shot towards the tunnel and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. The heavenly Tao avatar seemed to be a little surprised. He didn't expect that the fallen five-clawed golden dragon would suddenly attack the surroundings. However, the five-clawed golden dragon was placed here by his master. The avatar didn't dare to hesitate at all. Just as the heavenly Tao avatar left, Longao's figure suddenly appeared. There was no time to be surprised. Seizing this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Longao's blood-sucking broadsword had already slashed down fiercely. This was Longao's strongest attack. All the strength in his body had been integrated into this broadsword. It was an earth-shattering broadsword. Longao tried his best to use this broadsword because he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to break open the space. If that was the case, he wouldn't have a second chance at all. The reason was very simple. Once his broadsword couldn't break open the space, the heavenly Tao would instantly descend. At that time, not to mention obtaining the origin energy, whether he could leave or not would be the biggest problem. It was precisely because of this that Longao used the strongest attack in his life. In an instant, the surrounding space shattered and traces of terrifying space cracks appeared. Longao suddenly discovered that the space cracks were completely different from usual. There seemed to be something more. Could this be the so-called origin energy? Longao didn't dare to touch it easily because he was very clear about what the space cracks meant. Not to mention him, even the supreme Tao martial artists didn't dare to touch the space cracks. The space cracks were the most terrifying force in the world. It was even above thunder and lightning. It could devour everything, including the supreme Tao martial artists. Chapter 576. Longao knew very well that time was of the essence. If he relaxed even a little, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Tian Dao could descend at any time. Thinking of this, Longao made his move without hesitation and started to devour the origin energy in the spatial crack. According to what Long Fu said, as long as he devoured a little origin energy, once he reached a certain height in the future, he would be able to reproduce an endless amount of origin energy. In just a few seconds, Longao had finished devouring, but his body was nearly torn apart by the spatial crack. However, with the desolate divine body, Longao wasn't devoured by the spatial crack. Master, leave quickly! Tian Dao is about to descend. Shocked, Longao endured the pain coming from his body. He didn't dare to be negligent at all. Teleport and instantly left the cave. This time, Longao didn't have any misgivings and used teleport 10 times consecutively. When he left the stone wall, he immediately hid. Longao knew very well that according to Tian Dao's terrifying strength, if he chose to leave Spiritual Beast Island now, he would definitely be captured by Tian Dao. The only way was to hide. This way, he might be able to escape Tian Dao's pursuit. Sky Martial Continent, at the peak of a mountain. Tian Dao, who was sitting on the ground with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes and shot out 2 cold rays of light. Immediately after, Tian Dao used the teleportation array and appeared in the cave. Ever since Tian Dao stepped onto the peak of martial arts, he had sealed all the origin lands and set up a teleportation array. This way, if there was any problem with the origin lands, he could rush over immediately. In the cave, Tian Dao's clone returned with the 5-clawed golden dragon's corpse. Long Fu was guarding against this move. The soul of the corpse slave that he refined this time had already disappeared, so even Tian Dao couldn't sense anything. Master! Slap! Before the clone could speak, a slap landed on his face. Tian Dao's expression was extremely gloomy. No matter what, this person had snatched away the origin energy. Once he matured in the future, he would definitely become a formidable opponent. No one was allowed to touch the land of origin. Over countless years, countless people had found the land of origin, but they were all wiped out by the heavenly Tao. Only a man and a dragon from ancient times had obtained the power of origin, but they were still killed by the heavenly Tao in the end. The man and dragon were none other than Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. What the hell happened? Master, I don't know. The five-clawed golden dragon suddenly attacked the space and left. I chased after it. It had been planned for a long time. Of course, the heavenly Tao knew that the five-clawed golden dragon was already dead. It was impossible for it to be reborn and attack the cave. This meant that someone had done it on purpose. Their goal was to seize the origin energy. Who was it? The heavenly Tao could not figure out who it was that could actually use the fallen five-clawed golden dragon to seize the origin power. Guard this place well. Tian Dao's figure instantly disappeared. Tian Dao had already guessed that since this person could do this, his strength should be very strong. Could it be the second Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon? On the Spirit Beast Island, Tian Dao's figure had just appeared when his divine soul aura was released in an overwhelming manner. It instantly enveloped the entire Spirit Beast Island and even the entire sea. This was the heavenly Tao. This was the strength of the heavenly Tao. Just his aura alone could envelop the entire sea. In the entire world, other than the heavenly Tao, how many people could do it? Longao, who was hiding in a cave, suddenly felt a terrifying aura sweeping across his body. His heart skipped a beat. Longao naturally knew what this aura represented. What terrifying strength! This was the first time Longao felt the strength of the heavenly Tao. Just the aura alone was enough to kill him. Longao was very clear that if it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he believed that with his strength, he wouldn't be able to escape the shroud of the heavenly Tao's aura. At that time, only death would await him. He didn't dare to have the slightest fluctuation, or even breathe because the heavenly Tao's strength was too strong. If he wasn't careful, he would be discovered by the heavenly Tao. Above the Spirit Beast Island, the heavenly Tao stood quietly in midair and released his aura with a gloomy face. Over and over again, a steady stream of aura shrouded him, trying to sense the other party's aura in the shortest time possible. The heavenly Tao cursed fiercely. If he knew this would happen, he would have set up his own aura shield. In that case, countless people would be blocked outside without a chance. However, the heavenly Tao had his own thoughts. The reason was simple. Once he set up an aura shield in these source lands, ordinary martial artists would be able to withstand it. If he encountered a martial artist like Long Tian, he wouldn't be discovered, but with an aura shield, he would attract the attention of experts. There were good and bad. No matter what, the heavenly Tao wouldn't allow anyone to fuse with the power of origin. In this world, only he could possess the power of origin. No matter who it was, if they dared to touch the power of origin, they would be killed without mercy. Just like Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon back then. Until now, the heavenly Tao still couldn't figure out who was so reckless as to provoke the lion and pull a tooth out of the tiger's mouth. I know you're here. Get out here. Idiot. Hearing the heavenly Tao's angry voice, Longao cursed in his heart. There were countless heavenly Taos. The heavenly Tao didn't sense his existence just now. Now it seemed that the heavenly Tao couldn't find him at all. As long as he didn't go out, he would be completely safe this time. Within the dragon seal space. Master, you've successfully obtained the power of origin this time. Don't be reckless like the two old masters. In the end, not only did you fail at the last step, you might even lose your life. Nodding his head, Longao knew what Long Fu meant. In the past, Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon were confident and arrogant. They thought that with their combined strength, they could defeat the heavenly Tao. Longao could imagine that if Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon held back and fused with the power of origin, they would achieve the strength of the heavenly Tao. If that was the case, it was hard to say who would win. However, it was already too late. Longao naturally wouldn't do such a stupid thing because he knew that with his current strength, he couldn't fuse with the power of origin. If he tried to forcefully fuse with it, he would only explode and die. Therefore, if he wanted to fuse with the power of origin, he first had to break through to the realm of Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. No one knew how long this process would take, and during this time, Longao had already decided that he wouldn't be discovered by the heavenly Tao. He wouldn't walk the same path as Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. Master, why don't I take advantage of this time to tell you something? In any case, the heavenly Tao definitely won't leave in a short time. If it doesn't find you, the heavenly Tao will definitely not let this matter rest. Chapter 577. Of course, Longao knew what Long Fu had said. This time, he had obtained the power of the origin, so how could the heavenly axiom let it go? Long Fu had just said that there was only one person in the world who had the power of the origin, and that person was the heavenly axiom. Not to mention the heavenly axiom, no matter who it was, they would not easily let others have the power of the origin. The reason why the heavenly axiom could become the number one person in the world was nothing more than the integration of the power of the origin. If someone else also integrated the power of the origin, the legend of the number one person in the heavenly axiom would be broken. Long Fu, what's the matter? Longao was very curious. He did not know what Long Fu wanted to say to him at this time. Master, now that you have obtained the power of the origin, I will temporarily seal it for you. In the future, when you break through the old master's realm, I will help you reach the heavenly axiom realm in one fell swoop. At that time, you will be the only super existence in the world who can contend with the heavenly axiom. Longao did not have the slightest bit of excitement. Longao was not a 3-year-old child. Of course, he knew how dangerous this process was. Even if he was lucky enough to reach that height in the end, no one knew who would live and who would die in the battle with the heavenly axiom. Therefore, no matter what, this path was extremely difficult and full of difficulties. Master, I know that you are very unwilling, but this is your life. In fact, you can think about it this way. If the old master had not chosen you, you would not be where you are today. Longao still did not speak. He wanted to know what Long Fu wanted to say. Long Fu had thought about what Longao had said countless times. All along, Longao had thought that he was just a lucky person. If it were not for his good luck and the desolate sacred body, he believed that the primordial divine dragon would not have chosen him. In addition, Longao had always thought that he was just a chess piece of the primordial divine dragon. Longao could even imagine that if there came a day when he was useless to the primordial divine dragon, then the primordial divine dragon would not hesitate to kick him out. In the end, if he wanted to get rid of this chess piece situation, he had to have great strength. Even if the primordial divine dragon had fallen, Longao knew that unless he could break through the height of the heavenly axiom, Long Fu could replace him at any time. In the current situation, Long Fu was the one deciding whether or not he was a chess piece, not the one making the decision. Longao didn't like this situation, but there was nothing he could do. At the very least, he didn't have the slightest ability to resist. Master, according to your cultivation speed, with the help of the Chaos Stone tablet, I believe you will be able to reach the old master's level in at most 10 years. At that time, I will bring you to a place. So now, I want to tell you something. Longao scolded fiercely in his heart. Longao originally thought that Long Fu had already said it, but he didn't expect that after saying so much, Long Fu still hadn't started. It was really painful to the extreme. 10 years. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't happy. However, Longao didn't get happy too early, because he knew that the process would be dangerous. The result would be exciting, but everything would be nonsense until the end was reached. Master, what I want to tell you is actually very simple. With your cultivation speed, I can say that you will be able to officially break through to the Supreme Tao realm in 3 years and 5 years at most. However, it will be very, very difficult for you to reach Old Master's level. Long Fu, just say what you want to say. There is no need to beat around the bush. Alright, Master. I want you to enter the reincarnation path and break through to the Supreme Tao realm. Although he had guessed countless possibilities, Longao had never imagined that this would be what Long Fu wanted to say. Longao did not answer immediately. Instead, he chose to lower his head and ponder. Because the divine soul had entered the path of reincarnation, the chances of a successful rebirth were very, very small. If he was not careful, he would fall into eternal damnation. How could he not know what Long Fu meant? Longao wanted him to quickly improve his strength in the midst of life and death. Once the reincarnation path was successful, not only could he reach the peak of his previous life, but he could also break through to a higher realm. Long Fu, I want to ask you something. Did Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon enter the reincarnation path before? The primordial divine dragon didn't, but Long Tian entered it 9 times. 9 reincarnation path created the old master's super strength, but he was still 1 step away. 9 reincarnations? Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. However, he was extremely shocked. Of course, he knew what 9 reincarnations meant. Not to mention 9 reincarnations, even 1 reincarnation path was extremely dangerous. Longao found it hard to imagine how Long Tian did it. Master, you don't know. The dragon clan is different from warriors. The old master went through 9 reincarnations, and the 2 old masters improved together. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous if the 2 old masters entered the reincarnation path at the same time. Nodding, Longao already understood what Long Fu meant. It was very simple. Every time Long Tian entered the reincarnation path, the primordial divine dragon would choose to find Long Tian's reincarnation and guard him. This way, Long Tian would enter the reincarnation path safely. Even so, Long Tian could go through 9 reincarnations. He was still an unsurpassable existence. Master, I believe you should know that once a warrior of the divine path enters the reincarnation path, the more successful reincarnations they have, the more powerful they become. The 2 old masters went through 9 reincarnations and reached the peak of the martial path, but in the end, they didn't succeed in integrating the power of the origin. 9 reincarnations, the number of 9 nines. Longao finally knew what Long Fu wanted him to do. Enter the reincarnation path, the number of 9 nines, and reach the peak of the martial path after 9 reincarnations. Master, although you have the desolate sacred body and your cultivation speed is far faster than others, to reach the old master's height, I can only say one word. It is difficult. Therefore, you must enter the reincarnation path and go through reincarnation. In this way, I believe that Master can reach the old Master's height in the shortest time possible. I also need to go through 9 reincarnations? At least 9 reincarnations. The old Master's talent was not below yours. Moreover, the old Master had someone to protect him. Nodding, Longao did not immediately agree. Instead, he said, Long Fu, let's talk about this in the future. Long Fu did not continue because he also knew that this was indeed a little cruel. After all, the reincarnation path was full of danger, and there were as many as 9 reincarnations. Because of this, Long Fu did not blame his master. He would give his master time to consider. Even if his master did not agree, he would just have to wait a few more decades. Chapter 578. He hid quietly in the cave. Longao's mind was filled with the Tao of reincarnation. 9 reincarnations, 9 by 9. Longao never expected Long Tian to reincarnate 9 times. He had to admit that Long Tian's courage was really admirable. Here it comes again. Lin Fan cursed in his heart. After so long, Tian Dao still had it left. His aura was still shrouding the area. As long as there was a slight fluctuation, Tian Dao would definitely notice it immediately. Tian Dao and Longao. At this moment, the 2 of them were obviously competing in patience. Could it be that this person has already left? Standing in midair, Tian Dao's aura shrouded the spirit beasts and even the entire outer sea. However, after such a long time, he still couldn't sense any aura of the origin source. Tian Dao had full confidence that no matter who it was, as long as they took away the origin source's aura, he would be able to sense it immediately no matter how hidden it was. But now, Tian Dao had already thought about it. The other party's strength was far beyond his knowledge. Even if he wasn't as strong as Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon, he believed that he wouldn't be too far off. Who could it be? In Tian Dao's mind, he thought about all the strongest people in the world, but he still couldn't figure it out. At this moment, Tian Dao's face was extremely gloomy. At this moment, Tian Dao was really afraid. He wasn't afraid of the strong coming to challenge him, but he was afraid that someone would take away the origin source. Although it wasn't an easy task to fuse with the origin source, it was better to be safe than sorry. Tian Dao wouldn't give up. Even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance, Tian Dao would strangle it in the cradle. However, Tian Dao didn't continue to stay on Spirit Beast Island because he had full confidence in his strength. He had already scanned the area more than 100 times. It seemed like this person had really left. Although Tian Dao didn't know how this person left. After thinking about it, Tian Dao could only think of one possibility, and that was the teleportation array. This person left Spirit Beast Island with the help of the teleportation array. Otherwise, no one in the world could escape his senses. In the end, Tian Dao left Spirit Beast Island, but he didn't choose to give up. Even if there was a slight chance, the Heavenly Dao would not give up. At this moment, the Heavenly Dao was extremely anxious. It was prepared to find the strongest people in the world other than itself. If it was really done by those people, the Heavenly Dao would not let a single one of them off. Sensing that the aura of the Heavenly Dao had already disappeared, Longao still did not dare to make the slightest movement. No one knew whether the Heavenly Dao had left or not. As expected, 3 minutes later, the aura of the Heavenly Dao shrouded the area once again. It paused for a few minutes before gradually disappearing. However, Longao still did not come out. 3 minutes later, the aura of the Heavenly Dao enveloped him again. It went back and forth 2 or 3 times. The Heavenly Dao seemed to be somewhat unwilling. It was not until the 3rd time that the Heavenly Dao finally left completely. At this moment, Longao finally let out a sigh of relief and slowly walked out of the cave. Longao knew that it was fortunate that he wasn't discovered by the Heavenly Dao this time. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he believed that he would have been officially obliterated by the Heavenly Dao. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. No matter what, the Heavenly Dao was the strongest martial artist in the world. Even if Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon joined forces, they still couldn't resist the Heavenly Dao. Master, although the Heavenly Dao has already left Spirit Beast Island, it will definitely be paying attention to the outer seas at all times. Therefore, it's best that you don't leave Spirit Beast Island for the time being. I understand. However, I plan to take advantage of this period of time to go back again. Longao's words gave Long Fu a fright. He didn't know what was wrong with his master. It wasn't easy for him to escape the aura of the Heavenly Dao. Was he going to go back and court death? Of course, Long Fu knew what Longao meant. He said worriedly, Master, even if the Heavenly Dao doesn't appear again, just the clone of the Heavenly Dao is enough to kill you. Although the skeleton of the 5-clawed golden dragon is important, there's no need to lose your life for it. Longao also knew about Long Fu's worries. However, Longao was such a person. Even though he knew that it was dangerous, he still wanted to do it. As the saying goes, knowing that there is a tiger in the mountain, you still go to the Tiger Mountain. Long Fu, you've said it just now. Once the skeleton of the 5-clawed golden dragon fuses with the spirit, it won't have a problem defending against an illusionary divine martial artist. If I can refine a 5-clawed golden dragon corpse for the sect will have more confidence. Master, have you really decided? I know what to do. Long Fu, just hurry up and refine the corpse. Hearing this, Long Fu didn't continue speaking. He knew his master's character too well. Once he had decided on something, it would be hard for him to change his mind. Longao didn't return to the cave immediately. He knew that the clone of the heavenly Tao had just failed and was now fully focused. If he returned now, he would be courting death. Therefore, Longao was waiting. He was waiting for the clone of the heavenly Tao to relax. If that was the case, his chances of success would be greatly increased. At this moment, Longao suddenly felt that Long Chang was calling for him. Although Long Chang couldn't speak, as partners, Longao could understand what Long Chang was saying. After hearing Long Chang's words, Longao was very surprised. Longao never thought that the divine pill of the five-clawed golden dragon wouldn't be taken away by the heavenly Tao. Although he didn't know why the heavenly Tao didn't seize the divine pill of the five-clawed golden dragon, the meaning that Long Chang just conveyed to him was very simple. That was, Long Chang needed this divine pill. Longao was very clear what the divine pill of the five-clawed golden dragon meant to Long Chang. Just now, he only wanted to obtain the corpse of the five-clawed golden dragon. Now, it seemed that no matter what difficulties he encountered, no matter what happened, he had to help Long Chang obtain this divine pill. Long Fu had already said that this five-clawed golden dragon was very powerful, second only to the primordial divine dragon. If that was the case, the five-clawed golden dragon's divine pill was also the most terrifying existence in the world. Once Long Chang obtained it, he believed that it would be of great help to Long Chang's cultivation. Longao didn't tell Long Fu about this. Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately found a quiet place and sat quietly on the ground to cultivate. This was because he had to be fully prepared. No one knew what kind of difficulties he would encounter when he returned to the cave. The heavenly Tao avatar was incomparably powerful. Even if his strength couldn't contend against the primordial divine dragon, he believed that there wasn't much difference between him and the five-clawed golden dragon. He might even surpass it. Inside the cave, the heavenly Tao avatar returned the five-clawed golden dragon to its original place. The Dragon Clan didn't know that the heavenly Tao had killed the five-clawed golden dragon. Otherwise, who knew what the Dragon Clan would do? The heavenly Tao avatar knew that he had made a huge mistake, so the following days were especially strict. However, the heavenly Tao avatar was too confident. He believed that the previous mistake was just an accident. This kind of accident would definitely not happen a second time. Chapter 579. Somewhere in the sky martial continent. The entire cave was filled with intense spiritual qi. Yuyin had used this place to officially break through to the Saint Emperor realm in just a year. She was working hard towards the next realm. In Yuyin's heart, it wasn't important whether she could break through to the Supreme Tao stage. What was important was whether she could be together with Longao. Together forever. Master, you're here. The black-clothed old lady walked in slowly. Although she looked like a lonely old lady, no one in the entire sect dared to provoke her. In the beginning, Yuyin did not know what Master's strength was at all. Until some time ago, Yuyin finally knew that this master of hers was actually a powerful divine Tao martial artist. Yuyin, your cultivation speed is still a little slow. With this kind of physique and the sect's full support in nurturing you, you should have broken through to the great Emperor realm under normal circumstances. She wanted to cry and laugh in her heart. Her cultivation speed was still not fast enough? Yuyin was very clear that her cultivation speed was a supreme existence in her family or in the entire Scarlet Fire town. However, this cultivation speed was still too slow in front of her master. Master, what should I do? She was extremely anxious because according to her master, she had to break through to the Supreme Tao stage. At the very least, she had to be a titled Great Emperor before she could see her beloved. According to her current cultivation speed, she would need at least 3 years to break through to the titled Great Emperor realm. As for the Supreme Tao stage, it was still unknown. If her master had a good way to increase her cultivation speed, that would be great. Yes, Yuyin, I need you to break through to the Supreme Tao stage as fast as possible. In order to be able to see your beloved as soon as possible, I've decided to bring you to a place. Without waiting for Yuying to speak, the black-clothed old lady continued. Yuying, I have to remind you that this place is very dangerous. It can be said that you have a slim chance of survival. However, as long as you can survive and come out smoothly, I can guarantee that your cultivation will break through to the Great Emperor Realm at the very least. The 10 realms of the Great Emperor Realm were divided into red grade Great Emperor, orange grade Great Emperor, yellow grade Great Emperor, green grade Great Emperor, cyan grade Great Emperor, blue grade Great Emperor, purple grade Great Emperor, black grade Great Emperor, white grade Great Emperor, and gold grade Great Emperor. Above the gold grade Great Emperor was the titled Great Emperor. Under normal circumstances, even if her physique was special and her cultivation speed was much faster than others, she would still need at least a year to break through to the Great Emperor realm. Yuying wasn't willing to wait. Master, I'm willing to try. No matter how difficult it is, I'm willing to endure it. As if she had already guessed that Yuying would be like this, the black-clothed old granny suddenly sighed deeply and suddenly asked, Yuying, do you think it's worth it for you to do this for that stinking brat? Was it worth it? Am I Great Emperor Realm worth it? Yuying had asked herself this question countless times. However, every time she asked, the answer was the same. It was worth it. Yuying smiled. Her smile was so beautiful and so innocent. Master, I think it's worth it. Yuying sat down gently and looked at her hands with deep affection. She suddenly said, I will never forget the grudges and grudges. I will never forget you. I will only be obsessed with you. I will still have a dream when I go to the netherworld. If you don't leave me, I will stay by your side in life and death. Back then, Longao had created havoc in the sky cloud sect for Yuying. Yuying had already decided to live and die with Longao. Therefore, she had decided on this love of life and death. The black-clothed old lady was touched by her disciple's words, especially the last sentence. If you don't leave me, I will stay by your side in life and death. The black-clothed old lady knew very well that her disciple seemed to have fallen in love. However, was this kind of infatuation really good? Yuying didn't know from beginning to end that her master had always been unwilling for her to be with Longao. However, for Yuying's cultivation, she could only choose to compromise for the time being. Master, when do we start? Yuying obviously didn't want to continue, because no one could understand the feelings between her and Longao. 10 years of persistence was not something that could be summarized in 1 or 2 sentences. Yuying didn't want to say more, but the black-clothed old lady refused to give up. She said, Yuying, there is something that you may not know. For another woman, Longao created havoc in the Ghost King sect and slaughtered the Golden Sun sect. You are so infatuated that you can stay by his side in life and death. Can he stay by your side? There wasn't the slightest surprise or anger. Yuying seemed to have already known about this. With a smile, Yuying said, I believe in him. No matter what he does, I only know one thing. I love him and I believe that he also loves me. As for other things, they are no longer important. Yuying, do you really believe in him so much? The black-clothed old lady obviously didn't expect that Yuying would still be like this. She was really an infatuated silly child. The more Yuying acted like this, the more worried she was and the more she didn't want the two to be together. Master, no matter where I go, no matter what happens, I will choose to believe in him. Because this is love. When I chose to persist for 10 years, I already chose to believe in him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that at the beginning. The black-clothed old lady certainly knew about the matter between Yuying and Longao. It was precisely because of this that the black-clothed old lady regretted that she didn't separate them. As Yuying said, not everyone could persist for 10 years. She sighed deeply. Don't tell me that you don't have any resentment in your heart for what Longao did? Master, when will we start? If you don't leave or abandon me, I will stay with you in life and death. Yuying didn't want to continue to be entangled in this issue. She still chose to believe in Longao. She believed in the person she loved, no matter where they went, no matter what happened. Since Yin didn't want to mention more, the black-clothed old lady didn't continue. She had already thought about it. She would never agree to the matter between Yin and Longao. However, she couldn't be too hasty now. She had to take it step by step. Yin, have you thought it through? I will ask you one last time. Once you agree to enter that place, it will be a narrow escape. If you make a mistake, you will fall into eternal damnation. Nodding heavily, Yin said in a firm voice, Master, I have already decided. No matter what kind of danger we encounter, I will deal with it. Looking at the determined disciple in front of her, the black-clothed old lady felt a trace of heartache for the first time. However, she endured it in the end. Since they had already decided, the two didn't continue to say anything. They turned around and quickly left. In a short while, they had already disappeared without a trace. Chapter 580. Outer Sea, Spirit Beast Island. Inside the cave. Longao waited for 10 days before taking the risk to return to the cave. The Heavenly Way clone was confident that as long as he was around, no one would be able to enter the cave again and take away anything in the cave, especially the origin energy that his master valued the most. However, the Heavenly Way clone never expected that this person would return. Not only did he look down on him, but he also looked down on his master. As soon as Longao stepped into the cave, he immediately shot towards the 5-clawed golden dragon. Longao knew very well in his heart that he only had one chance and not much time. In other words, the longer he delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. When he arrived in front of the 5-clawed golden dragon, Longao smiled in surprise and immediately placed the skeleton into the dragon seal space. Before Longao could react, a terrifying force suddenly shot towards him from all directions and hit him squarely. With a groan, Longao's body flew out. At this moment, the Heavenly Way clone suddenly appeared. The corner of his mouth curled into a sneer as he cursed. Damn it, I'm just a decoration. Today, I'll let you experience the feeling of living a life worse than death. The Heavenly Way clone originally thought that a super expert would dare to do this, but he never expected that the other party was just a mere half-step saint. Just as the Heavenly Way clone was about to make a move, his eyes suddenly narrowed because he realized that the warrior he had just knocked down had suddenly disappeared. In the next second, Longao's body appeared outside the tunnel. Until now, Longao still had some lingering fear because if it wasn't for the desolate divine physique, he believed that he would have died. The Heavenly Way clone was indeed powerful. Not daring to stay any longer, Longao quickly shot out and used spatial teleportation. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared into the tunnel. Teleportation? He didn't believe that a mere half-step saint could teleport, but the Heavenly Way clone didn't dare to relax. If he couldn't catch the other party this time, he would be in big trouble once his master returned. First, he allowed the other party to successfully take away the origin energy. Now, he even took away the 5-clawed golden dragon. The Heavenly Tao clone's expression was extremely gloomy. The Heavenly Tao avatar immediately gave chase. Just like that, Longao and the Heavenly Tao avatar, one in front and one behind, moved so fast that not even their shadows could be seen. Brat, I'll tear you to shreds today. Longao could not be bothered with the Heavenly Tao's clone. With a backhand slash, a terrifying saber gleam slashed out like a shooting star. The Heavenly Law avatar did not expect that the other party would dare to take the initiative to attack. However, the Heavenly Law avatar's strength was already comparable to the 5-clawed golden dragon, or even stronger. He easily dodged the attack. However, in just a few seconds, Longao's figure had already disappeared. Spatial teleportation was a powerful martial skill that Longao had comprehended after breaking through to the second revolution of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. It was likely that no one in this world could possess such a superb martial skill. Longao did not dare to clash head-on with the Heavenly Tao avatar. He used spatial teleportation 10 times consecutively, not giving the Heavenly Tao avatar the slightest chance. In fact, according to the heavenly Tao avatar's strength, if he had not been careless, he would not have fallen to such a state. There was not the slightest aura in the surroundings. It was impossible to know where the other party had gone. If the five-clawed golden dragon could not be found and the person could not be captured, how would he explain it to the director? Thinking of this, the heavenly Tao avatar's expression became even colder. Until now, he still could not figure out who this person was. After all, under normal circumstances, a half-step saint was just a trash in his eyes. 1,000 meters away. With the help of spatial teleportation, Longao could be considered to have completely shaken off the heavenly Tao avatar for a short period of time. However, he did not relax in the slightest because the heavenly Tao avatar was too powerful. As long as the heavenly Tao avatar caught up, he would have no chance to escape. At this moment, Longao found it hard to imagine how powerful the heavenly Tao avatar was. Not to mention the heavenly Tao avatar's strength, just the heavenly Tao avatar's strength was so terrifying. With just one strike, Longao could clearly feel that the heavenly Tao avatar was enough to kill his old ancestor. However, one must know that the old ancestor was already a divine realm martial artist and could be considered to be standing at the peak of the divine realm. Even so, Longao still had this feeling that the old ancestor did not even have the chance to make a move in front of the heavenly Tao avatar. He did not dare to imagine. Longao took a breath. After using spatial teleportation 10 times consecutively, his soul was already extremely weak. If he was unable to completely shake off the heavenly Tao avatar in a short period of time, then there would only be one result. Master, go towards the east. Without suspecting Long Fu, Longao turned around and immediately shot towards the east. On the way, Longao finally understood what Long Fu meant. Although Long Fu could help Longao hide his aura to the point that even the heavenly Tao could not sense it, the current situation was completely different. Because Longao had used spatial teleportation 10 times consecutively, his soul was very weak. He was unable to hide his aura at all and not be discovered by the heavenly Tao avatar. The meaning was very simple. Longao had to combine his soul and cooperate with Long Fu to be able to hide his aura. However, Longao himself was unable to do so now. It was precisely because of this that Long Fu's method was very simple. It was to let Longao find the sacred beast and then use the sacred beast's aura to conceal his own aura. This way, the heavenly Tao avatar might not be able to find him. This method was not 100% foolproof, but Longao was very clear in his heart that in this situation, he had no other choice but to stake it all on this one throw. Sure enough, Longao followed the east direction and found no less than 10 sacred beasts. If it was just the aura of one sacred beast, it would be very difficult to conceal his own aura. However, there were dozens of sacred beasts, and there was even a second-level sacred beast. This way, the success rate would be infinitely higher. Longao did not dare to hesitate in the slightest, because the heavenly Tao avatar's strength and speed were incomparably powerful. If he was slightly negligent, he would fall into eternal damnation. Although this time it was very dangerous, and he almost lost his life, Longao did not regret it. This was because not only did he obtain the 5-clawed golden dragon's corpse, he also helped Long Chang obtain the divine pill. This way, it could be said to be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Opportunity and danger coexisted. This was the truth that Longao had always pursued. Longao did not have any conflict with the sacred beasts. According to Longao's cautiousness, as long as he did not take the initiative to attack, it would be very difficult for the 10 sacred beasts to discover his tracks. After all, the strength of the 10 sacred beasts was not on the same level as the heavenly Tao avatar. In a short while, the heavenly Tao avatar had already arrived, but he had lost track of Longao. With the heavenly Tao avatar's strength, of course he could sense the aura of the sacred beast here. It was precisely because of this that the heavenly Tao avatar's expression was very solemn. The more solemn it was, the more difficult it was to sense the aura. Chapter 581. Heaven's avatar scanned for a few minutes and couldn't sense Longao's aura. He turned around and chased in another direction. Longao heaved a sigh of relief. No matter what, Heaven's avatar still didn't discover him. However, Longao didn't dare to act rashly. Who knew if Heaven's avatar would come back to play with him? Longao knew that luck played a large part in successfully snatching the 5-clawed golden dragon and divine pill. Longao passed the divine pill to Long Chang. Then, he communicated with Long Chang for a while before being summoned by Long Fu. In the dragon seal space. Master, with Long Chang's current strength, he can't refine and swallow the golden dragon divine pill that you just obtained. Once he forcefully assimilates it, he will only explode and die. Nodding, Longao seemed to have guessed it and said, Don't worry, I've already communicated with the little guy. For the time being, the little guy won't swallow the golden dragon divine pill. How could Longao not know about Long Fu's worries? However, the 5-clawed golden dragon's strength was only second to the primordial divine dragon. The divine pill was very terrifying. If Long Chang chose to swallow it at this time, he would definitely explode. Longao had already thought of this. Longao and Long Fu chatted for a while and didn't leave. Sitting quietly under the tree, Longao began to cultivate his soul. As he used spatial teleportation more and more frequently, he discovered a problem. Spatial teleportation couldn't be maintained for a long time. Longao was looking forward to spatial teleportation. Currently, spatial teleportation could only teleport a distance of 1 meter. If he could teleport 100 meters, 1,000 meters, or even 10,000 meters, or even across the entire outer sea, then why would he need to be afraid of divine Tao? However, if he wanted to teleport for a long time and increase the distance, he had to continuously strengthen his soul power. There was no other way. Longao could only cultivate the soul martial technique that Long Fu taught him. However, this speed was simply too slow. Teleportation was Longao's greatest trump card. If not for spatial teleportation this time, Longao knew that it would be too difficult to avoid the pursuit of the heavenly Tao and its avatar. Thinking of this, Longao re-entered the dragon seal space and went straight to the point. Long Fu, I need to continuously strengthen my soul force. Can you help me refine more soul force? Nodding, Long Fu said, With your current situation, spatial teleportation is indeed Master's trump card. However, 100 meters of spatial teleportation is indeed not enough. Therefore, during this period of time, I have been helping you store soul power. If Master can devour it, you can at least double your spiritual power. Double? Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was overjoyed. Immediately after, Longao felt a frightening amount of soul power enter his body. Not daring to hesitate, he decided to hide for a while. In any case, he could use this time to improve his soul power. The stronger one's soul was, the more powerful one's teleportation would be, and the more terrifying one's soul attack would be. They were interlocked. Fusing souls might seem simple, but it was actually extremely difficult. Longao quietly stayed in the dragon seal space to fuse souls, while the heavenly Tao's avatar frantically searched the spiritual beast island. In a short hour, it had already searched the spiritual beast island 5 to 6 times, but there was still no clue. 6 hours later. In the cave. Master, this is what happened. I can confirm that the other party is only in the Sage-to-be realm. Slap. Before the heavenly Tao's avatar could finish speaking, the heavenly Tao's avatar ruthlessly slapped him. If it wasn't for the fact that the heavenly Tao's avatar was painstakingly refined, the heavenly Tao's avatar would have been destroyed long ago. It would be fine if it was an accident once, but it was an accident twice. Damn, it would be strange if he wasn't furious. The heavenly Tao had never told anyone about the use of the 5-clawed golden dragon, not even his avatar. The 5-clawed golden dragon was a supreme existence second only to the immemorial divine dragon. The heavenly Tao had killed a 5-clawed golden dragon with great difficulty and forcefully erased its soul in order to refine a puppet, a 5-clawed golden dragon puppet. The heavenly Tao's intention was simple. As long as the five-clawed golden dragon puppet was refined and fused with the chaotic qi, its strength would be comparable to his own. At that time, even if someone had fused with the origin energy, he wouldn't be afraid. But all of this was broken today. The heavenly Tao was furious. First, the origin energy was taken away, and then the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon was snatched away. He originally thought that with the Avatar's protection, unless those people personally took action, the Avatar would be able to look down on everything in this world. This person is very sinister. He actually concealed his strength. The heavenly Tao was almost certain that this person couldn't be a sage to be. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to escape the pursuit of the Avatar. The heavenly Tao was very clear that the reason this person hid his strength was to hide his identity. Who was it? Previously, the heavenly Tao had already looked for those people, including the immemorial Qilin of the Qilin clan. However, the heavenly Tao still couldn't find out who had moved the origin energy. In fact, the heavenly Tao knew that it was impossible for these people to do this because he was always paying attention to their movements. If they had taken away the origin energy, it was impossible for him not to know. Master, what should we do now? This person has been plotting for a long time. First, he fused with the origin energy, and then took away the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon. If nothing unexpected happens, this person wants to deal with me. However, it's not easy for this person to fuse with the origin energy. The heavenly Tao vaguely remembered how much effort it had taken for him to fuse with the origin energy. It could be said that it was a narrow escape. In the end, he still relied on luck to complete the last step. Otherwise, he would have been devoured by the origin energy long ago. Therefore, the heavenly Tao heaved a sigh of relief. Even if this person could fuse with the origin energy, who knew how long it would take, so he had a lot of time to find this person. The heavenly Tao had decided that no matter what happened, he had to find this person. Daring to touch the origin energy and the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon was simply courting death. Guard this place well for me. If there is a third time, I will refine you again. Yes, master. The clone was shocked and respectfully retreated to the side. The heavenly Tao took a deep look at the cave, as if he didn't care anymore. He immediately released his chi shield and wrapped the entire cave inside and out again. The heavenly Tao was completely afraid. Even if he was discovered, he didn't care. At most, he would be busy, but he definitely wouldn't let this kind of thing continue to happen. He could accept it once, but if it happened a few more times, even the heavenly Tao wouldn't be able to accept it. Therefore, after thinking about it, the heavenly Tao still chose to use his own power to seal all the origin energy. As long as those people didn't personally take action, he believed that there should be no problem. Chapter 582. It wasn't easy to refine soul power in a short period of time. Longao focused all of his attention on refining and increasing his soul power. It could be said that once his soul power doubled, not only his soul attacks, even his spatial teleportation would be greatly improved. Whether it was soul attack or spatial teleportation, it could be said that they were all Longao's trump cards. It was because of this that Longao couldn't wait to increase his soul power. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Longao made sure that the heavenly law avatar had left and returned to the cave. Only then did he leave quietly. This time, Longao didn't linger. After killing a sacred beast, he immediately left Spirit Beast Island. However, he used another exit, even though it was a long detour. Cloud Island. The master of the Holy Land, Yangchun, rushed to the Long family with 3 half-saint elders, Kongli, Songren, and Xie. The 4 of them didn't enter. They stood outside the Long family and waited quietly. Long Jian and Long Bai jumped in fright when they heard that the master of the Holy Land had personally come. Of course they knew why the 4 half-saint martial practitioners of the Holy Land had come to the Long family. Long Jian and Long Bai's expressions were dark to the extreme. After all, the 4 half-saint martial practitioners of the Holy Land could easily destroy the Long family, or even the entire Cloud Island. Master Yang, we are honored by your presence. Please come in. Yang Chen waved his hand. He didn't care about Long Bai and Long Jian at all. He couldn't even be bothered to say anything. If it wasn't for Longao killing Zhou Dian this time, Yang Chen probably wouldn't have appeared in the Long family in this generation. I want to see Longao. As expected. Long Bai and Long Jian's expressions turned even uglier when they heard that Yang Chen wanted to see Longao. It had been more than half a month since Longao left Cloud Island. Even their own sons might not know where he was, let alone them. What should they do? Although Yang Chen and the others didn't say anything, the two of them couldn't clearly sense the invisible killing intent coming from them. But after thinking about it, it made sense. As the number 1 overlord of the Cloud Island, who would dare to offend the Saint Lands? Zhou Dian had been killed on the Cloud Island. This was like the sacred ground being slapped hard in the face. As the overlord of the Cloud Island, how could the sacred ground swallow this insult? Master Yang, Master Long left half a month ago and hasn't returned yet, so… Waving his hand, Yang Chen interrupted Longao and said coldly, Since Longao is not here, then hand Longheng over. If Longao does not show up in 3 days, Longheng will die. Attack! Before Long Bai and Long Jian could react, the 3 half-step saints behind them had already scurried away. This wasn't to say that the sacred grounds were afraid of the Long family, but rather that they were extremely wary of Longao. Who knew if Longao was actually here? What if he was? The 4 of them were clearly aware in their hearts that since Longao was able to kill Zhou Dian by himself, there was no need to consider his own strength. It was precisely because of this that the 3 half-saint realm elders had made a move at the same time for the sake of ensuring that nothing would go wrong. A short while later, Longheng had been captured, and it was obvious that he had fainted. Long Bai and Long Jian were furious, but they didn't dare to say anything. No matter what, the other party was the strongest person in the sacred grounds, and they could destroy the Long family at any time. If 4 half-step saints wanted to destroy the Long family, it would be a matter of minutes. Long Jian, Long Bai, this is all because of your Long family. Your Long family caused the sacred grounds to lose a half-step saint realm elder. However, seeing that your Long family has always been loyal to the sacred grounds, we can spare you from death, but you cannot escape punishment. Master Yang, please listen to my explanation. Long Jian and Long Bai jumped in fright when they heard Yang Chen's words. They weren't idiots, so of course they could hear the murderous intent in Yang Chen's words. It was true that whatever they were afraid of had happened. Originally, they thought that with Long Ao's support, the Long family would be like a carp leaping over the dragon's gate. Now that the situation had changed, with just the Long Ao was a disaster. What should they do? Yang Chen didn't listen to their explanations at all. He was already filled with anger. They had lost a half-step Saint Realm Elder for no reason. What the hell? What did the sacred grounds do to deserve this? Even the sacred grounds couldn't afford to lose a half-step Saint Realm cultivator. If it was any other island, it wouldn't be a big deal. However, his own half-step Saint Realm cultivator had died right under his nose. This was simply unbearable. Prostitutes could endure this, but customers couldn't. Just a small punishment. The 3 half-step saints didn't give the 2 of them any chance to speak. They quickly attacked, severely injuring Long Jian, Long Bai, and everyone else in the Long family. However, the sacred grounds was still polite and didn't destroy the Long family. In fact, there were reasons why the sacred grounds didn't destroy the Long family this time. First, Long Ao wasn't a member of the Long family. They were well aware of the grudge between Long Ao and the sacred grounds. Apart from Longheng, no one else in the Long family had participated. Second, the Long family had always been one of the 3 great families in Cloud City. Now that the Wang family had been destroyed, if the Long family was destroyed as well, wouldn't the Yi family become the only great family? Of course, the sacred grounds wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. It was precisely because of this that Yang Chen decided to punish them lightly. He wanted to show everyone on Cloud Island that the sacred grounds were the true rulers of Cloud Island. Anyone who dared to defy the sacred grounds would die. Seeing the four half-step saints take Long Hung away quickly, Long Jian and Long Bai's pale faces turned even uglier. As one of the three great families in Cloud City, they couldn't even protect their own people. If the sacred grounds hadn't shown mercy, the Long family would have disappeared from this world long ago. "Uncle, what should we do now?" Seeing his son being taken away, Long Bai was very worried. However, Long Hung was the only hope of the Long family. He was also the only person who had the chance to become an illusionary divine stage cultivator. If the sacred grounds really killed his son, it would be like a bolt from the blue for the Long family. However, Long Bai also knew that the Long family's strength alone was no match for the sacred grounds. Everything seemed a little too surreal. The Long family, which had the upper hand just a moment ago, had fallen to the bottom in just a few minutes. "We can only wait for Master Long to return. I hope he returns. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble." Long Bai and Long Jian didn't say anything. The two of them forced their shaky bodies to slowly turn around and enter the Long family. The news of the sacred grounds teaching the Long family a lesson had already spread throughout Cloud City. No one was surprised at all, as if they had already guessed it. As for the sacred grounds taking Long Hung away, many people couldn't understand why Longao, Long Heng's master, didn't appear. Could it be that Longao was afraid? That couldn't be right. Longao's domineering attitude didn't seem like he was afraid. Furthermore, if he was afraid of the sacred grounds, he wouldn't have provoked them in the first place. Author's note: Little Nine was too agitated just now. Sorry, many people are right. Little Nine only needs to have a clear conscience. Today, I'll try my best to keep the minimum of 10 chapters. Let's go all out. Everyone, wait patiently. This is the 3rd chapter. Chapter 583. Long Hung had been captured, and the entire Long family had been severely injured, but Longao hadn't done anything. They had originally thought that Longao would take action, but the result was the exact opposite. Was Longao afraid? Although no one was willing to believe it, the truth was right in front of their eyes. Everyone had received the news that Longao had not only not taken action, he had even left Cloud Island and gone somewhere unknown. It was precisely because of this that everyone began to condemn Longao. However, at the same time, they could understand Longao's decision. Again, the sacred ground was too powerful. Just this time, they had sent out 4 half-step saints to teach the Long family a lesson. The sacred ground's intention for capturing Longao was very clear. They wanted to force him to go to the sacred ground. Would Longao dare to go to the sacred ground? If Longao dared to go to the sacred ground, he wouldn't have just sat back and watched. Therefore, everyone was 100% sure that Longao didn't dare to go to the sacred ground. He had even left Cloud City and no one knew where he had gone. In everyone's hearts, Longao had killed the Long family this time. Longao had provoked the sacred ground and left without a word. No matter how powerful the sacred ground was, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find any trace of Longao in the vast ocean. Long Hung was dead for sure. Although Long Hung was called trash, he was still the #1 genius of Cloud City. It was more or less a pity that he was killed by the sacred ground. Cloud Island, Cloud City, Long family? Longao had just returned to Cloud City. When he stepped into the main hall and saw that Long Jian and Long Bai were severely injured, his heart skipped a beat. Did something happen? Senior Long, family head Long, what happened? Both Long Jian and Long Bai's expressions changed when they saw Longao suddenly appear. Neither of them had expected that Longao would suddenly return. Master Long, it's me. Long Jian and Long Bai sighed deeply. It seemed like they wanted to say something, but in the end, they didn't say anything. Seeing that the two of them wanted to say something, Longao's balls hurt to the extreme. His voice had already turned cold as he asked, "What happened? Where is Longheng?" Under normal circumstances, the first person to welcome him back would be Longheng. But what happened in the end? Master Dragon, if this is the case. Since things had already come to this point, Longbai did not hide anything from Yunche. He told Yunche everything that had happened just now. After hearing this, Longao was not angry at all. He asked calmly, "Where is the Holy Land? Master Dragon, are you going to the Holy Land? You just have to answer, where is the Holy Land?" Longbai jumped in fright. Even though Longao was very calm, Longbai could clearly sense the invisible killing intent radiating from his body. Not daring to hesitate in the slightest, he immediately revealed the exact location of the Holy Land. "Longheng is my disciple. No one is allowed to touch him. I will avenge the Long family. From now on, the Long family is the overlord of Cloud Island." Long Jian and Longbai stared at each other as they watched Longao's departing figure. "Uncle, Longao just said that from now on, our Long family is the overlord of Cloud City. Enough, let's see if Longao can come back alive first." Long Jian did not believe Longao's words at all. What a joke. If Longao could destroy the entire Holy Land with his own strength, he would not have fallen into such a predicament. After all, the Holy Land had 4 half-sages and even a saint. A saint was a super-existence that was above a half-sage. It could be said that a half-sage martial practitioner was not even trash in front of a saint. News of Longao's return to Cloud City instantly spread throughout Cloud City. Everyone who heard the news turned pale with fright. They did not know what Longao wanted to do. He clearly knew that the Holy Land was looking for him, but Longao still returned to Cloud City. Wasn't this suicide? Was Longao really so arrogant that he did not fear the Holy Land? Not only did Longao return to Cloud City, but according to reliable sources, he had already attacked the Holy Land. This news shook the entire Cloud City because no one thought that Longao would really attack the Holy Land. This was simply a joke. No one believed it, and they all went to the Long family to get the exact news. Many martial practitioners also rushed to the Holy Land to see how Longao would attack the Holy Land. The Holy Land was the #1 overlord of Cloud Island. The entire Holy Land had 5 half-sages and 1 saint. However, Zhou Dian had already been killed by Longao. Now, the Holy Land only had 4 half-sages and 1 saint left. Even so, the Holy Land was still the most powerful existence on Cloud Island. Not to mention one person, even if all the families in Cloud City worked together, they would not be a match for the Holy Land. One could imagine how powerful the Holy Land was. 4 half-sages and 1 saint were enough to destroy everyone in Cloud City. In the Holy Land, there were 3 continuous mountains surrounded by the sea on 3 sides. They faced Cloud City from afar. The Holy Land was surrounded by white clouds all year round, as if it was floating above the clouds. Longao stood in front of the Holy Land and looked coldly at the 3 mountains in front of him, forcefully suppressing the anger in his heart. When he left Cloud City this time, Longao thought that the Holy Land would not attack the Long family. No matter what, the grudge between him and the Holy Land was only personal. However, the Holy Land was shameless enough to capture Longheng and attack the Long family. All of this was because Longao had already refined 10 level 1 sacred beast corpse slaves. Unless a saint came, he would definitely destroy the Holy Land today. From today onwards, the overlord of Cloud City was no longer the Holy Land, but the Long family. This was his compensation to the Long family. Long Fu also knew that Longao was anxious, so he worked overtime and finally succeeded in refining 10 sacred beast corpse slaves. The blue-eyed fire lion and the other 10 sacred beast corpse slaves all stood behind Longao obediently. At this time, countless people were secretly looking at them. Longao had already sensed this, but he did not say anything. He wanted to make an example out of them. Otherwise, even if he could destroy the Holy Land, the Long family would not be able to control Cloud Island. Longao brought 10 sacred beasts. Looking at Longao and the 10 sacred beasts behind Longao, everyone was shocked. They looked at the youth in the distance in a daze. Was he still human? In everyone's heart, Longao was no longer human. After all, he was so young and could control 10 sacred beasts. What kind of concept was that? In the battle between the Holy Land and Longao, it was hard to say who would win and who would lose. If it was before, everyone would definitely think that Longao would lose. But at this moment, seeing Longao suddenly summon 10 sacred beasts, everyone's thoughts immediately changed. Everyone was looking forward to the battle between Longao and the Holy Land. They wanted to see if anyone could really shake the position of the overlord of Cloud City for more than 100 years. Would Longao win or the Holy Land lose? Chapter 584. Longao, you're really arrogant. You really dare to come. There was no need for further nonsense. The aura of the 10 sacred beasts was enough to destroy everything. The 4 sage-to-be who had just appeared were shocked when they saw the 10 sacred beasts behind Longao. They had no idea what was going on. Yangchen, let's end the grudge between the sacred land and me today. Before Yangchen could speak, Longao continued. If I win, the sacred land won't leave anyone alive. If I lose, I'll kill myself here. Hearing this, the 4 sage-to-be's faces turned solemn. If it was just Longao alone, they wouldn't be worried at all. But the situation was different now. Longao wasn't alone. He had 10 sacred beasts behind him. Once the battle started, they would lose without a doubt. 4 against 10. Yangchen and the others had the urge to curse because they couldn't figure out where Longao found 10 sacred beasts. If they had known, they wouldn't have bothered Longao even if they had swallowed their anger. But things had already come to this point. Yangchen knew that the sacred land couldn't back down no matter what. Once they were afraid, the sacred land would be completely passive. Are you afraid? Looking at the 4's ugly faces, Longao suddenly laughed and said contemptuously. I thought the sacred land was powerful. It turns out that it's just SOSO. Hand over Longhung and I can let the sacred land go. But the 4 of you must die. From today onwards, the sacred land will leave the Cloud Island and never return. One had to admit that Longao had gone too far. No matter what, the sacred land had been the overlord of the Cloud Island for so many years. But now, not only did Longao want to take away the sacred land's position, he even wanted to drive the sacred land out of the Cloud Island. Although there were countless islands in the outer sea and they could start anew on any one of them. But the problem now was that if the 4 sage-to-be's were to fall, the overall strength of the sacred land would plummet. By then, no matter where they went, they would either be devoured or destroyed. Longao, do you really think you can destroy the sacred land? We can give it a try. The more confident Longao appeared, the more uncertain Yangchen and the others felt. However, the 4 of them knew very well that Longao possessed the qualifications to be so confident. 10 divine beasts were no joke. Longao, you are too presumptuous. At this moment, a dignified voice suddenly rang out from the sacred land. Looking at the old man who had descended from the sky, the 4 of them immediately bowed respectfully. Disciples greet Grand Elder. The Grand Elder, the Holy Land's Grand Elder. Looking at the sudden appearance of the first Elder of the Holy Land, all the spectators who were hiding in the dark were in an uproar. This was because the first Elder of the Holy Land, Yang Feng, was a legendary figure and was already a saint expert. When the Holy Land was in danger, it was this person who had turned the tide. Saints. Longao was not surprised at all as he stared at the old man in front of him, who was the so-called saint. He had already guessed that there must be a saint in the sacred land. Otherwise, the sacred land would not have been able to dominate Cloud Island for so many years. Who are you? I am the first Elder of the Holy Land, Yang Feng. Longao, you killed my elder first. You can't blame the Holy Land for this. What do you say? I don't need to say more about the shamelessness of the Holy Land. You are just a bully. Longao, you are too presumptuous. Who do you think you are? How dare you be so arrogant in front of the First Elder? Hearing that Longao dared to be disrespectful to the First Elder, Yang Chen and the others were immediately enraged. If it were not for the 10 divine beasts behind Longao, they believed that Yang Chen would not have shown any mercy. Waving his hand, Yang Feng smiled as if he did not put Longao and the 10 divine beasts in his eyes at all. However, Yang Feng had the right to be arrogant. As a powerful saint expert, in his eyes, a half-saint expert was just an ant-like existence. The two were not on the same level at all. It was precisely because of this that Yang Feng was not worried at all. On the contrary, he was pleasantly surprised. If all 10 divine beasts were accepted into the Holy Land, it would undoubtedly be a great help to the Holy Land. Losing a half-saint elder in exchange for 10 saint beasts. No matter how he looked at it, he would not lose out. How could Longao not know what Yang Feng was thinking? But since things had come to this point, no matter what, he had to continue. He knew that he was no match for a saint expert. Longao had already decided that if he had no other choice, he would use the 9 needles to forcibly raise his strength. Even if he was a peak half-saint, he believed that he had the strength to contend against a saint expert. Longao, I can give you a chance. Yang Chen and the others stood respectfully to the side. Even if Yang Chen was the master, he did not dare to interrupt. This was Yang Feng's status in the Holy Land. Yang Feng, the number 1 expert of the Holy Land, was also the spiritual pillar of the Holy Land. I'm all ears. I won't intervene in the battle between the 4 of you. If you win, take Longheng away. If you lose, leave behind the 10 divine beasts. From then on, the enmity between you and the Holy Land will be written off. How about it? Before Longao could speak, Yang Feng continued. I won't intervene, and neither can your 10 divine beasts. Shameless. 1 against 4. Yang Feng's plan was really good. Hearing Yang Feng's words, countless people around deeply despised this first elder of the Holy Land. They originally had some respect for him, but now, Yang Feng had instantly ruined his reputation. Yang Feng, do you think you're shameless? Yang Feng did not speak. He just smiled as if he did not feel that there was anything wrong with what he had done. After all, this was the Holy Land, their territory. Moreover, he was a saint expert. In the eyes of everyone, this was giving Longao a chance. Otherwise, if Yang Feng personally took action, would Longao be able to contend against him? Actually, Longao was very clear about Yang Feng's intentions. He only wanted his 10 sacred beast corpse slaves. Otherwise, Yang Feng wouldn't have given him this opportunity. Yang Feng, if I win, not only will I take Longheng away, but the 4 of them will also have to leave their lives behind. Moreover, the Holy Land will have to leave Cloud Island forever, and will not be able to take half a step onto Cloud Island for the rest of their lives. Longao, don't King cross the line. The First Elder has already given you a chance. Who do you think you are? Trash. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Longao's arrogance caused everyone to scold him. However, Yang Feng waved his hand curiously and asked, Longao, I'm really curious. Are you really that confident? Not to mention Yang Feng, there was no one who was willing to believe that Longao could win against 4 sage-to-be experts. Chapter 585. What if you lose? Yang Feng didn't put Longao in his eyes at all. In the eyes of a saint, a half-step saint was trash. If I lose, not only will I give you the 10 saint beasts, but I will also kill myself. How about that? Okay, I agree. Without even thinking, Yang Feng directly agreed. Because in Yang Feng's opinion, it was impossible for Longao to be a match for 4 people. Was it even possible for him to defeat Yang Chen and the other 3? Regardless of whether others believed it or not, he didn't believe it. Not to mention Yang Feng, even the others chose not to believe it. Yang Feng and Longao had already decided, so Yang Feng and the 10 saint beasts retreated. At this time, Yang Feng asked someone to bring Long Hung over. Master. Longao waved his hand and said guiltily. Master has implicated you. Master, I'm not willing to do this. Long Hung was very moved as he looked at his master. Ever since he had been captured, only his master had come alone. But this time, his master had come alone to face the entire sacred land. If he wasn't careful, he would be killed by the sacred land. But even so, his master had still come without hesitation. But what about his family? What about his father? Where were they? A master for a day was a father for life. Long Hung didn't continue speaking because there was nothing he could say. But at this time, footsteps came from the distance. Then, hundreds of people rushed over, led by the Long family's patriarch, Long Bai, and Long Jian. Long Hung was pleasantly surprised when he saw the crowd. No matter what happened to him today, he felt that it was worth it. Hunger, no matter what, we choose to live and die with you. After saying that, Long Jian and the others retreated to the side. Yan Feng and the other 4 snorted coldly. They were just a bunch of trash. They didn't care about them at all. As long as the sacred land wanted to, they could destroy the Long family in a matter of minutes. Yang Chun and the other 3 walked out, their faces full of contempt and ridicule. If Longao could really fight the 4 of them alone, they wouldn't have the face to continue living in this world. You overestimate yourself. Today, I'll let you know the consequences of being arrogant. Nonsense. Longao took a big stride forward and slashed out with the blood-sucking blade in his hand. At the same time, the divine dragon arm also smashed out. In the blink of an eye, the 5 of them were already engaged in a fierce battle. As the saying goes, once an expert makes a move, one will know whether or not he is an expert. The 4 half-step sages, who hadn't put Longao in their eyes, suddenly became serious. They didn't dare to be careless. The 4 half-step sages attacked Longao from the 4 directions of north, south, east, and west. Watching the battle between the 2 sides, Yang Feng gradually became solemn. He had never imagined that Longao's strength would be so powerful. In a situation where he was fighting 1 against 4, he was still able to gain the upper hand. End the battle quickly. Longao didn't want to waste time with the 4 of them because he knew very well that even if he could kill the 4 of them, there was still Yang Feng behind him. After causing such a ruckus in the Holy Land, would Yang Feng let him leave easily? The blood-sucking wild blade and the extermination seal were continuously used. One move after another, one move after another, one move after another, not giving the 4 of them the slightest chance to take a breather. At this time, Longao sneered. Suddenly, he used the space teleportation. Disappeared? Looking at Longao, who was still there just a moment ago, suddenly disappeared for no reason. It was as if they had seen a ghost in the daytime. The 4 of them stared blankly at the empty space in front of them. Before the 4 of them could react, Yang Feng's words had already been heard. Be careful behind you. Be careful behind you. What did this mean? The 4 of them were startled. At this time, Longao's figure suddenly appeared behind the 4 of them. The blood-sucking blade, in his hand, had already ruthlessly chopped down. Without a doubt, in this situation, how could the 4 of them resist Longao's blade? According to Longao's strength, it was simply impossible to kill 4 half-step saints with 1 blade at the same time. Therefore, Longao chose to go all out to kill one of them. Kacha! There was a crisp sound. Kongli, who was one of the 4 half-sages, was killed by Longao's saber. He was cleaved in half. The remaining 3 half-sages were dumbfounded. Not to mention the 3 half-step saints, even the others, including Yang Feng, were all dumbfounded. Longao had almost killed Kongli in an instant. Moreover, it was under the joint attack of 4 half-step saints. What kind of concept was this? The 3 half-step saints were stunned. Longao didn't let go of this opportunity. After killing Kongli, he immediately chopped towards the three half-step saints. The blood-sucking blade brought a terrifying blade light, like a meteor streaking across the sky. A cold shiver ran down his spine. The three half-step saints didn't dare to have the slightest hesitation. With calmly as an example, the three of them were restricted by Longao. If it was a day ago, Longao definitely wouldn't have casually used the spatial teleportation. After all, it consumed too much of his soul power. However, the situation now was completely different. The continuous strengthening of his soul power allowed Longao to use spatial teleportation more than 3 times in a row. Moreover, the distance of the spatial teleportation had increased from 1 meter to 1.5 meters. Therefore, Longao had used spatial teleportation from the beginning in order to end the battle quickly. Longao continued to use spatial teleportation. However, this time, the three half-step saints were already mentally prepared. When they saw that Longao had suddenly disappeared, the three of them immediately stood back to prevent Longao from succeeding in his sneak attack. Hee hee, you've become smarter. Not bad, not bad. As soon as his voice fell, a terrifying tornado appeared in an instant. Longao had just used spatial teleportation and immediately used his self-created martial skill, Heaven and Earth Sorrow. A powerful imposing aura spurred the tornado and instantly engulfed the three half-step saints. In the eyes of outsiders, Longao, Yang Chen and the other two had all disappeared. They were all enveloped in the tornado. As for what had happened inside, no one knew what was going on inside the tornado. Uncle, do you think Master Long can defeat Yang Chen and the other two? The expression on Longao's face was very complicated. He said, I can't see through Longao. If it was before, I would have told you 100% that I don't believe that Longao can defeat Yang Chen and the other three by himself. What about now? Now? With a wry smile, Longao said, Longao can certainly kill Yang Chen and the other two, but even so, what can he do? There's still Yang Feng behind him. You should know that Yang Feng is the true #1 expert of the Holy Land. Longao will definitely die here today. Long Bai was very surprised. At this moment, he felt that there was something wrong with his uncle. As for what was wrong, he couldn't tell. The words were already at the tip of his tongue, but Long Bai abruptly swallowed them back down. He looked deeply at his uncle and sighed in his heart. Chapter 586. Inside the tornado. Longao made use of the momentum of heaven and earth to attack the three of them fiercely, not giving them any chance to breathe. Momentum of heaven and earth! Nirvana! Before Yangchen could finish his words, Longao's blade light had already slashed towards them. The three of them were already scared silly. They didn't dare to fight force with force. They only wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. Want to leave? Longao made use of the momentum of heaven and earth. The combination of bloodthirsty blade and sorrow of heaven and earth wasn't as simple as 1 + 1. Moreover, Longao was attacking with his full strength. Crack! Songrin and Xiexia were finished off by Longao. At this moment, only Yang Chen was left among the 4 half-saint experts. 3 of the 4 half-saint experts were already dead. The remaining Yang Chen didn't dare to continue fighting. After a series of attacks, he turned around and prepared to leave. But at this moment, Longao had already smashed out the dragon god's arm boom. Before Yang Chen could react, his entire body had already been smashed away. Seeing a figure being smashed out in an instant, everyone had already guessed what had happened. Seeing Yang Chen on the verge of collapse and standing there with a pale face, everyone was dumbfounded. The tornado disappeared. Longao's body instantly shot out and continued to attack Yang Chen. Looking at the 3 corpses on the ground, everyone was a little dumbfounded. One should know that the 3 of them were half-saint experts of the sacred ground. But in just a few minutes, all of them had died here. Including Zhou Dian, who was killed earlier, the only 4 half-saint elders of the sacred ground had been killed by Longao. Not a single one was left alive. Everyone was still in a daze. After all, the sacred ground was the overlord of Cloud Island. For countless years, no one had dared to do this. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? Longao, this name was destined to be recorded in the annals of history, resounding throughout the countless islands in the outer sea. Longao took advantage of the victory to pursue. Since he had already killed 3 half-saint experts, he wouldn't lose to Yangchen. Longao wasn't a fool. Although he had made an agreement with Yang Feng that as long as he could defeat the 4 half-saint experts, not only could he take Long Heng away, the sacred ground would also withdraw from Cloud Island. But would Yang Feng keep his promise? Longao didn't know how Yang Feng was doing, but he couldn't gamble. If Yang Feng went against him and didn't keep his promise, then Yangchen would always be a hidden danger. Letting the tiger return to the mountain will leave behind future troubles. If you don't remove the roots when you cut the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Looking at the 3 corpses on the ground, Yang Feng was furious to the extreme, but due to the agreement he had just made with Longao, he could not easily intervene. In any case, there were countless people watching, and the Holy Land could not lose face. Until now, Yang Feng still hadn't come to his senses. He couldn't figure out how Longao, who was only a beginner half-saint, could kill 3 half-saints in a 1 versus 4 situation. It seemed that only a saint could achieve such strength. Could Longao be a saint? "Uncle, what's wrong?" Longbai was pleasantly surprised when he saw that Longao had successfully killed 3 half-saints. When he turned around to look at his uncle, Longbai jumped in fright because Long Jian's expression was exactly the same as Yang Feng's. Both of them were extremely gloomy. "Uncle! Shut up and watch carefully." Longbai jumped in fright. He didn't know what was wrong with his uncle, but he didn't dare to continue asking. After successfully killing the 3 half-saints, Longao wielded bloodsucker broadsword and shot toward Yangchen. He didn't continue releasing his aura of heaven and earth because he might have to fight another battle later, or even with Yang Feng. If that happened, then his aura of heaven and earth might play an unexpected role. In the blink of an eye, Longao and Yangchen continued to fight. They went back and forth, and in an instant, they exchanged 3 blows, but there was no clear winner. Longao didn't want to listen at all because he had already guessed what Yangchen wanted to say. How could he choose to give up on such a rare opportunity so easily? It was still the same old saying, cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to get rid of future troubles. When he thought of Longao's terrifying strength, Yangchen didn't want to continue fighting. At this moment, Yangchen was extremely regretful. If he knew that Longao was so strong, he wouldn't have provoked this person. Now, they had lost 4 half-saints. Even if they could kill Longao in the end, the Holy Land would suffer a great loss. However, Longao didn't give him the slightest chance to catch his breath. Under his continuous attacks, Yangchen found it increasingly difficult to withstand. There were a few times when Yangchen even wanted to call for Yang Feng's help, but in the end, he resisted. The Holy Land had already lost face in this battle. If he asked for help again, how could the Holy Land establish itself on Cloud Island in the future? Because of this, Yangchen forced himself to endure and used all his strength. Yangchen tried to turn the situation around, but no matter what he did, he couldn't do it. The second time, he used sorrow of heaven and earth. Longao instantly grabbed Yangchen. He was frightened. Yangchen didn't want to. He directly turned around and fled. As the master of the Holy Land and a half-saint martial artist, Yangchen had lost face. However, compared to his life, it was insignificant. He laughed loudly. The master of the Holy Land is just like a wild dog. Longao, that's enough. He ignored Yang Feng. After all, he and Yang Feng had just made an agreement. As long as Yang Feng didn't find it embarrassing, he wouldn't easily take action unless it was a last resort. Otherwise, Yang Feng would have already taken action when he killed the 3 half-saints. Seeing Longao ignoring him, Yang Feng's face became even colder. As Longao had guessed, Yang Feng wouldn't easily take action unless it was a last resort in order to take care of his own face. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Longao chased after Yang Qin, who had already escaped. He directly took back his wild-devouring blade and fiercely smashed it. Both of his arms were as fast as lightning, especially the divine dragon arm. Its speed was twice as fast. Furthermore, Longao used spatial teleportation and instantly arrived beside Yang Qin. The corner of Longao's mouth curled into a sneer. Longao suddenly moved. Before Yang Qin could even react, Longao's fist had already fiercely landed on Yang Qin's body. Fist after fist, fist after fist, fist after fist, every fist landed on Yang Qin's flesh. Moreover, Longao used 120% of his strength. Longao, that's enough! Yang Feng's angry roar was heard, but Longao still ignored it and continued to smash. In just a few seconds, Yang Qin had already become an extra-large pig head. However, Yang Qin had already been smashed no less than 100 times and was already on the verge of death. It was believed that Yang Qin would be smashed to death in less than 10 punches. Damn you! Yang Feng finally couldn't bear it anymore. The Holy Land had already lost 4 half-saint elders. If even Yang Qin died, the Holy Land would really be finished. Chapter 587. As soon as Yang Feng made his move, a burst of ridicule came from all around. In any case, there was an agreement between Longao and Yang Feng. But now, Yang Feng obviously did not abide by the agreement, and interfered in this matter. Again, Yang Feng would not easily make a move unless it was a last resort. At this moment, Yang Feng was really anxious. First, Zhou Qiong was killed, and then the 3 half-saint elders fell. If Yang Qin was killed by Longao, the sacred ground would really commit suicide. He dared not to be careless, but Longao certainly would not leave Yang Qin alive for the sacred ground. Shameless sacred ground, shameless Yang Feng! After saying that, Longao's dragon god's arm had already smashed Yang Qin's temple, killing him instantly. No one knew if Longao did it on purpose, but he failed to kill Yang Qin after hundreds of punches. But Yang Feng intervened and Longao directly killed Yang Qin with 1 punch. Provocation. Longao was obviously provoking the sacred ground. If it was in the past, everyone would definitely think that Longao was courting death. But now, everyone would give him a thumbs up and praise him because he had the capital to do so. Did you? After killing Yang Qin, Longao quickly retreated, not giving Yang Feng the slightest chance. Yang Feng came in front of Yang Qin and looked at the 4 corpses on the ground. His face was gloomy, and he did not say a word. His whole body emitted waves of cold aura, like a 10,000-year-old ancient corpse. In front of the sacred ground. It was quiet, and no one spoke. In just a few minutes, Longao had killed 4 half-saint experts. What kind of concept was that? At this moment, everyone had a new understanding of Longao's strength. Although Longao was only a beginner half-saint, his true strength was comparable to a peak half-saint. At least, no one below the saint realm was a match for Longao. Longao, you're courting death. Ha ha ha, Yang Feng, we made a deal just now. I will fight for people. If I win, not only will they die, but the Holy Land will also have to leave the Cloud Island. Don't tell me you don't want to accept it? Longao wasn't the least bit surprised by Yang Feng's actions. After all, he had killed 4 semi-sage experts. He had almost wiped out all the semi-sage experts of the Holy Land. It would be strange if Yang Feng would stop here. Humph, I made a deal with you, but I didn't say that if you win against the 4 of them, you can leave the Holy Land. I will keep my promise. Later, the Holy Land will leave the Cloud Island. We will never set foot on the Cloud Island again. But before we leave, you must die. Hearing Yang Feng's words, everyone was shocked. Was the sacred ground really going to leave the Cloud Island? No one seemed to be able to react. No matter what, the Holy Land had dominated the Cloud Island for so many years. No one had ever thought that there would be a day when the Holy Land would withdraw from the Cloud Island. Is this true? Until now, no one dared to believe it. Although Yang Feng had already announced that the Holy Land would withdraw from the Cloud Island, the meaning of his words was clear. Even if the Holy Land left, they would still kill Longao. It had to be said that Yang Feng was indeed shameless. He had clearly lost, but he still insisted on twisting words. Longao smiled contemptuously. He was very indifferent and said without the slightest worry, "I have long known that the Holy Land is shameless, but I never thought that you would be this shameless. But it doesn't matter. Since you want to play, I will play with you." Arrogant. Overbearing. Longao's courage and charm deeply impressed everyone, including Yang Feng. At this moment, Yang Feng still couldn't react. Why did the Holy Land provoke this maleficent star? It brought a fatal disaster to the Holy Land for no reason. Not only did they lose 4 semi-sage elders, but they also made it impossible for the Holy Land to dominate the Cloud Island. They had to withdraw from the Cloud Island. Although there were countless islands in the outer sea, it was harder than reaching the sky to occupy a place. The reason why the Holy Land could dominate the Cloud Island was the efforts of several generations. It didn't come out of nowhere. Inside the dragon seal space, Long Fu placed the souls of the 3 semi-sage martial artists into the blood pool and began to refine the so-called soul power. What Longao needed the most now was to fuse the souls and continuously strengthen his soul power. But according to his master, the remaining soul of Yangchen must be refined into a soul slave as soon as possible. Without the corpse, he could only refine it into a soul slave. If it was the dragon seal space in the past, it would have been impossible. But now, the situation was completely different. When the primordial divine dragon fell, its power was given to Longao and Long Chang. All of its blood was poured into the blood pool. In this way, the blood pool instantly recovered a little. So if Long Fu went all out to refine it, 3 minutes would be enough. Yang Feng suddenly turned his head and coldly stared at the youth in front of him. "Longao, you shouldn't have provoked the Holy Land. You have to understand one thing. It was the Holy Land that provoked me first. The first time, Zhou Dian cut off my disciple's left arm. The second time, Yangchen took my disciple. Do you mean that the Holy Land can bully people at will and we have to obediently endure it?" Yang Feng was speechless by Longao's question. No matter what, the Holy Land was in the wrong first. Because it was the Holy Land that provoked him first. But now that things had come to this point, how could Yang Feng admit his mistake? Wouldn't that be slapping his own face? Yang Feng smiled and said, "Longao, I have to admit that you can indeed be called number 1 under the Saint Realm. You were able to defeat Yang Chen and the other 3 by yourself. If you can break through to the Saint Realm, even if you're only a primary saint, I won't be your opponent." It was the truth. Hearing Yang Feng's words, no one had the slightest doubt. Because Longao had just witnessed his strength. He was able to defeat 4 people by himself and kill them. Just this strength alone was enough to show disdain for everyone under the Saint Realm. It was not an exaggeration to call him number 1 under the Saint Realm. But everyone also knew that no matter how strong Longao was, he was still a semi-saint and could not compete with a saint. This was the biggest gap between a saint and a semi-saint. Yang Feng knew this. Longao also knew this. Everyone knew this. Because of this, without exception, everyone thought that Longao was doomed this time. But since he could make a scene in the Holy Land and kill 4 semi-saint warriors, his name would still go down in history. "Longao, if you can take 10 of my moves, I'll let you go." Only 10 moves. It sounded simple, but it was not easy to withstand 10 moves from a saint. It was especially difficult for a semi-saint warrior to withstand 10 moves from a saint. However, Longao still looked indifferent. At this time, Yang Feng suddenly attacked. However, he left quickly and came back even faster. His eyes were opened wider than a cow's. He had an expression of disbelief. Not only Yang Feng, even the others had the same expression, as if they had seen a ghost. They didn't know what was going on. Chapter 588. A figure suddenly appeared in front of Longao. It was Yang Chen. The reason why everyone was shocked and looked like they'd seen a ghost was because of Yang Chen in front of Longao. One should know that Yang Chen was already dead. Thus, why would he suddenly appear here? What on earth had happened? Yang Feng was the most shocked because Yang Chen's corpse was still lying on the ground beside him, but another Yang Chen had appeared in front of him. He really wanted to know how this Yang Chen had appeared. So, Yang Feng instantly guessed the real reason. Although he didn't know how Longao had done it, he had a feeling that the Yang Chen in front of him was already under Longao's control. How did Longao do it? Everyone kept asking themselves the same question as they watched everything unfold before them. Uncle, Longao is really amazing. He can actually duplicate Yang Chen's soul. Although I don't know how he did it, I'm sure of one thing. Longao has already refined Yang Chen's soul. Yang Chen's soul is now under Longao's control. Longbai was even more curious when he heard his uncle's tone. He didn't know what was wrong with his uncle. Was his uncle dissatisfied with Longao? That shouldn't be the case. His uncle had always had a good impression of Longao. What was wrong with him now? It seemed like he didn't like Longao at all. Long Jian's attitude completely confused Longbai. Longao, how did you do it? How I did it is none of your business. Longao was very arrogant. The more arrogant he was, the more uncertain Yang Feng felt. This was especially true when it came to Yang Chen's soul. He really couldn't figure out how Longao had done it. Yang Feng, cut the crap. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't, then scram. Get out of Cloud Island and we'll write this matter off. Now that Longao clearly had the upper hand, the situation had changed too quickly. No one could react in time. Originally, Yang Feng was a saint and had suppressed Longao. But now, Longao, a half-step saint, was suppressing Yang Feng. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it. Yang Feng seemed to be in a daze. He didn't expect Longao to be so arrogant. If it was before, Yang Feng would have killed Longao without any hesitation. But now, Longao's arrogance had deeply shaken Yang Feng, and he didn't dare to attack. Yang Feng, you don't dare? As Yang Feng retreated, Longao pressed on. At this time, it was unknown who sent Yang Feng a spiritual sense message. Yang Feng, who had been frightened, suddenly seemed to have changed into a different person. He stared at Longao and sneered. I'd like to see how you contend against me. Longao was also a little surprised. Were there other experts in the sacred land? Just now, he could clearly sense that Yang Feng's aura had been completely disrupted by him, and his state of mind was unstable. Even if he was in the saint realm, as long as he seized this opportunity and used his trump card, he could kill Yang Feng. But now, Longao didn't believe that Yang Feng could recover in an instant and stabilize his state of mind by himself. There must be someone helping him, and the other party must be an expert. Longao also became solemn in an instant, because he was sure that there must be other experts in the sacred land, and this expert's strength was not lower than Yang Feng's. If this was the case, then things would be troublesome. Ha ha, Longao! Without waiting for Yang Feng to finish his words, Longao had already slashed out with his blood-drinking wild saber. The shocking saber light engulfed the heavens and devoured the earth. The terrifying spatial crack was forcibly cut open. Seeing this situation, everyone was shocked. Cutting open the space with a single broadsword? Not to mention a little quasi-holy warrior, it seemed that even a divine Tao warrior couldn't do this. Where did this person come from? In everyone's eyes, Longao became more and more mysterious and powerful. However, Longao didn't give Yang Feng any chances, because he knew that the gap between them was too big, and it was difficult to make up for the gap in realm. Therefore, there was only one way, and that was to repeatedly congratulate him, hoping to find a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to attack. Innate magical ability, Dragon Roar. A series of dragon roars resounding throughout the entire heaven and earth. Then, a black dragon figure appeared behind Longao. Dragon? Dragon? Looking at the huge dragon figure behind Longao, this time, everyone was completely frightened. Everyone guessed who Longao was. Was he a dragon warrior? A dragon warrior! Longao was actually a dragon warrior! Long Jian glared fiercely at Longao, and then at Longao, because he never imagined that Longao would actually be a dragon warrior. After all, the Long family's dragon warriors were too powerful, and there was no one who didn't know about them. Longao. Long Jian fiercely said this name, and his fists were tightly clenched. This made Long Bai even more curious, because at this moment, his uncle seemed to be too abnormal, especially when he saw Longao. A dragon roar resounded, and the dragon figure released a powerful aura that instantly enveloped the surrounding space. Suddenly Yang Feng felt his body being locked down, and the flow of time around him began to reverse. In this way, his speed decreased by 3 seconds, and Longao's speed increased by 3 seconds. Yang Feng was scared silly, because he had never encountered such a situation before. His body was locked down, and time was forcibly reversed. Was this something that a half-saint warrior could do? Longao. Dragon your sister. Of course, Longao wouldn't give Yang Feng any chance to retaliate. He fiercely slashed out with the bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand, and not only that, he also teleported. In the next second, Longao appeared beside Yang Feng. His innate ability, Dragon Roar, had already reversed Yang Feng's speed and increased Longao's speed. At this moment, Longao actually used spatial teleportation. Speed was superior, and Yang Feng was completely defeated. Longao was clearly bullying Yang Feng. A half-saint bullying a saint? Was such a thing really possible? Everyone stared blankly at the scene in front of them, because Longao had silently appeared beside Yang Feng. As long as Longao attacked, Yang Feng wouldn't be able to dodge, and the outcome of this battle would be decided. However, many people still didn't believe that Longao could do this. If Longao could really kill a saint, it would be too heaven-defying. At this moment, Longao's eyes were cold, and he gathered all his strength. As long as he slashed down, Yang Feng would definitely die. Yang Feng seemed to have expected this, and he was very unwilling to accept this. In fact, according to Longao's normal strength, it was impossible for him to do this. However, with the help of Dragon Roar and spatial teleportation, and Yang Feng's carelessness, Longao was able to do it. Just as Longao was about to slash out with his blade, suddenly, a person appeared behind Longao, a person that no one would have expected. P.S. Chapter 10 updated at 1 p.m. Chapter 589. Long Jian? Everyone was confused when they saw Long Jian suddenly appear behind Longao. They didn't know what Long Jian was trying to do. Under everyone's curious gazes, Long Jian suddenly made his move. A palm ruthlessly struck Longao's back, directly sending him flying. What was going on? Wasn't Longao Long Heng's master? Long Jian's sudden action stunned everyone. They didn't know what Long Jian was trying to do. After all, it was rumored that Longao had a good relationship with the Long family. Otherwise, Longao wouldn't have charged into the sacred ground alone and killed 4 half-step saints for Longheng. Longao never thought that Long Jian would suddenly attack him. It was because he wasn't on guard against Long Jian that Longao didn't even react when he was hit by Long Jian. After flipping in the air, Longao came to a stop shakily. Even at this moment, Longao still had some lingering fear. If it wasn't for the desolate divine body, he believed that he would have been killed by Long Jian's palm. Long Jian. The voice was extremely cold. Long Ao instantly understood what was going on. He just realized that there was still an expert from the sacred ground who hadn't shown up and was secretly helping Yang Feng. Otherwise, he would have killed Yang Feng without a doubt. Although Yang Feng had broken through to the Saint Realm, his mental state was in chaos. As long as he used spatial teleportation and his innate ability, he had a chance to kill him. However, Long Ao had already guessed that Yang Feng had calmed his mental state in an instant. However, Long Ao never thought that the expert from the sacred ground would be Long Jian, the #1 expert of the Long family. Long Ao was very curious. Who was Long Jian? Forget Long Ao, even Long Bai and Long Heng were shocked by Long Jian's actions. What was going on? Long Bai and Long Heng did not say anything because the two of them were so shocked that they could not speak. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never have imagined that the #1 expert of their family, their closest relative, would actually help the sacred grounds just now. Long Jian seemed to have become a different person. He exuded a cold aura. He was only a world emperor, but he instantly became a saint, and a pinnacle saint at that. He even surpassed Yang Feng. Long Ao, since you've already guessed it, why asked me? As expected. Long Jian, how should I address you? Dragon Sword can do it, so can Yang Jian. There's one thing I don't understand. Since you're a reincarnator, then the Long family is also your family. Why did you do this to the Long family? Ha ha ha, the Long family is like floating clouds in my eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that I had to hide from my enemies, I wouldn't have killed Long Jian and seized his soul to be reborn. So that's why. Long Ao knew very well that Long Jian was not the #1 expert of the Long family at this moment, but the #1 expert of the sacred grounds. He had merely seized his soul to be reborn. Unfortunately, no one in the Long family or even the entire Cloud City knew about this. Long Ao, it seems that you come from a Long family. I really didn't expect that such a powerful dragon martial artist would appear on our small cloud island. Yang Jian had already guessed that since Long Jian had awakened his innate ability, he was definitely a dragon martial artist. Because of this, Yang Jian was greedy and couldn't wait to obtain Long Jian's dragon. If he could devour the dragon martial artist's soul, he believed that his strength would increase rapidly. How could Long Ao not know about Yang Jian's thoughts? However, Long Ao was very surprised because he never imagined that 2 reincarnation experts would appear on a small cloud island. After all, Long Ao knew what a reincarnation expert represented. Countless islands in the outer sea. One had to admit that the outer sea was an unfathomable place. Long Ao's heart was also filled with killing intent, because he and the sacred land had already reached a situation where either you die or I die. If Yang Jianju awakened his divine soul and became a divine Tao warrior, then things would become even more troublesome. Long Ao was certain that Yang Jian had awakened his spirit, it was just that it had not been fully awakened. Yang Jian was equivalent to a second Wang Hao. Whether it was Yang Jian or Wang Hao, no matter what happened, they had to be killed. Long Ao had always believed in one principle: if you cut the grass without removing the roots, there would be endless trouble in the future. Long Ao, you killed 4 half-sages of the sacred grounds. I will slowly let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. Turning around, Yang Jian looked at Long Bai and suddenly said, Seeing that you still respect me, I can spare the Long family. You should leave first. I won't leave. Father, you leave first. No matter what, I will live and die with Master. Long Bai didn't know what to say when he saw the determination on his son's face. His son's actions were indeed worthy of respect, but his son was the family's only hope. Before Long Bai could say anything, Yang Jian suddenly laughed coldly and said, Long Heng, do you really want to die with your master? Sure, I can fulfill your wish. I will let the 2 of you die together later. Senior. Long Bai, I will give you one last chance to leave. Otherwise, I don't recommend slaughtering the entire Long family. Yang Jian's powerful aura intimidated everyone. As a saint expert and a reincarnation cultivator, Yang Jian had the right to do so. Longbai sighed deeply, but decided to stay in the end. He said, I, Longbai, have never done anything big in my life. This time, son, I will support you. No matter what happens, I will live and die with you. Longbai's words caused the surrounding people to secretly cheer. Before they knew it, everyone had a good impression of Longao. After all, the sacred grounds were too sinister. You don't know the difference between life and death. I will make you regret this. Yang Jian didn't care about the Long family at all. If the sacred grounds wanted to destroy the Long family, they could do it in a matter of minutes. As long as he wanted to, he could do it at any time. However, Yang Jian didn't choose to deal with the Long family at this time. No matter what, the Long family was like a turtle in a jar that could be destroyed at any time. Right now, there was only one person he needed to deal with, and that was Longao, the powerful dragon martial practitioner in front of him. Yang Feng's state of mind was unstable and he had almost been killed, but Yang Jian seemed very confident. Longao, if you and I were to fight, take a guess. How many moves can you take? You. If I remember correctly, Yang Chen said the same thing just now. It seems that Yang Feng also said the same thing. It seems that the people of the sacred grounds like to boast. I can understand their shamelessness, but as a person who has lived 2 lives, instead of being a good person, you choose to act like a dog. I really feel sorry for the sacred grounds. Without giving Yang Jian a chance to speak, Longao suddenly said, Yang Jian, I formally challenge you now. Do you dare to accept? Chapter 590. You want to challenge me? Yang Jian seemed a little surprised. He did not expect that Longao would take the initiative to challenge him. He was courting death. However, even though Yang Feng and Yang Jian were both saints, they couldn't be compared to each other. No matter what, Yang Jian was still a rebirth realm cultivator. Everyone around held their breath, looking forward to the battle between Longao and Yang Jian. Longao's rampage in the Holy Land was full of twists and turns, and he was surrounded by dangers. What shocked everyone the most was that the top expert of the Long family, Long Jian, was actually a reincarnation realm martial artist from the Holy Land. If it were not for Longao, no one would have known about this in their lifetime. You don't dare? Ha ha ha, I don't dare? Longao, since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. I accept your challenge. I want to see how powerful a dragon warrior is. Longao and Yang Jian did not continue to talk nonsense, because both of them knew very well that this battle was a matter of life and death. Preemptive strike. In terms of realm, there was a difference of a whole level. Longao certainly would not sit still and wait for death. He wanted to change from passive to active. As soon as he made his move, his innate magical ability, Dragon Roar, was used. At the same time as the dragon's roar sounded, a huge dragon figure appeared behind him. A terrifying aura spread out and instantly enveloped the surrounding space. Even if Yang Jian was a reincarnation realm martial artist and had broken through to the Saint realm, it was impossible for him to break through the innate magical ability, Dragon Roar. Self-created martial technique, sorrow of the heavens and earth. Longao was like a tornado and used teleportation. In the next second, he appeared beside Yang Jian and instantly enveloped him. Teleportation, sorrow of the heavens and earth. In order to kill with one blow, Longao used 3 trump cards at the same time, in order to not give Yang Jian any chance to react. Longao knew very well that he was a whole level lower than Yang Jian. If Yang Jian had the upper hand, it would be harder for him to take back the initiative. A half-saint transformed the spiritual power in the body into Saint Qi. A saint would condense the saint origin power in his body into a saint elixir pill to strengthen his own strength. Yang Jian had never imagined that Longao's attacks would be so fierce. Each move was stronger than the last. Even he himself could not react in time. If it had been an ordinary warrior, such as Yang Feng, in a state of unstable mental state, Longao might have taken advantage of the situation and killed him directly. However, Yang Jian's situation was completely different. Firstly, Yang Jian was a reincarnation realm warrior and his strength was not something that Yang Feng could compare with. Secondly, as a reincarnation realm warrior, Yang Jian's state of mind was relatively stable. Even if he was shocked, it would be difficult for his state of mind to be disturbed. In this way, Longao would be in even more danger in this battle. Heaven and earth grieved inside the tornado. When Longao directly released his chi of heaven and earth, Yang Jian was really shocked. Nirvana rebirth? Yang Jian did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. He discovered that Longao had too many secrets. He was a dragon martial artist, gifted magical powers, teleportation, and now he was releasing the chi of heaven and earth. Who was this person? Could it be that Longao is also a dragon warrior? Suddenly, Yang Jian seemed to have thought of something. He really could not figure out how Longao could be so powerful if he was not a so-called reincarnation realm warrior. With the strength of a half-saint, he could actually contend with a saint. Under normal circumstances, a half-saint warrior and a saint could not be compared at all. It was like a child standing in front of an adult, and wanting to kill the adult with one palm. It was a joke in itself. What a normal half-saint warrior could not do was done by Longao. Moreover, he had just almost killed Yang Feng. This in itself showed that Longao's strength was enough to be called the number one person below the saint realm. Within the tornado, Longao used the chi of heaven and earth to try and limit Yang Jian's strength and speed. However, Yang Jian was ultimately a reincarnation realm warrior. He instantly broke through the chi of heaven and earth and began to counterattack. No one outside the tornado could see the great battle inside, but everyone could guess the outcome. Yang Jian would definitely kill Longao. In everyone's eyes, it was impossible for a half-saint to defeat a saint. Longbai clenched his fists tightly. Even now, Longbai seemed to be unable to react. No matter what, he had never imagined that his uncle, his biological uncle, was not a member of the Long family, but a reincarnation realm warrior from the sacred land. What should he do? What should the family do? Longbai seemed to be at a loss. Longao, I will show you what the power of the divine way is. Yang Jian did not dare to be careless in the slightest. His opponent's strength had already exceeded his understanding. If he was unlucky and was killed, he would have suffered a great loss. It was precisely because of this that Yang Jian had used the remnant will of his spirit in order to ensure that nothing went wrong and that he could successfully kill Longao. A terrifying aura of the divine way surged out. Even though it could not suppress the chi of heaven and earth, it could suppress the grief of the heavens and earth. It would cause him to lose control and suppress his strength and speed. Having already fought with Wang Hao, Longao seemed to have gained some experience. He very calmly countered Yang Jian's every move. The tornado disappeared and Longao continuously used spatial teleportation to attack Yang Jian from different directions. The battle between the two of them had escalated, rising from the ground to the sky. Everyone was dumbfounded by the sight. Longao had actually lasted for such a long time? Everyone found it hard to believe. This was the first time that Longao had broken the norm. Not only could a half-saint fight a saint, he could even fight a saint to the death. Yang Feng's face was very gloomy. He had never imagined that because of a small Longao, not only had the sect lost 5 half-saints, but he had also almost been killed. Most importantly, the fact that the old ancestor was a reincarnation realm cultivator had been leaked. He believed that Yun's city could no longer stay. Divine Way cultivators, or other cultivators, were most afraid of reincarnation realm cultivators. Once other people knew, there would be many people who would want to strangle the old ancestor in the cradle. They would not give the old ancestor a chance to awaken his spirit. At this moment, Yang Feng had never imagined that the old ancestor would use the remnant will of his spirit. In this way, it would be even more difficult for the old ancestor to comprehend the remnant will of his spirit. Who exactly was Longao? Longao's sudden appearance completely messed up the Holy Land, causing the Holy Land to be in a sorry state. The anger in Yang Feng's heart erupted like a volcano. However, the old ancestor had already taken action, so he couldn't help. Otherwise, he would lose face, and the old ancestor might vent his anger on him. In the end, Yang Feng forced himself to endure. At this moment, Yang Feng only had one wish, and that was that the old ancestor could kill Longao and suppress Yun City. As for the fact that the old ancestor was a reincarnation realm cultivator, it seemed that the old ancestor could only hide it for the time being. P.S. Today's minimum is 10 chapters. If there is time, I will update more. Everyone, please vote for Longao. Little 9 thanks. Chapter 591. Longao and Yang Jian's battle continued to escalate. Yang Jian originally thought that he could easily defeat his opponent by using his soul remnant will. But the result? Yang Jian was extremely depressed. As a reincarnation realm cultivator and a saint realm cultivator, he couldn't even deal with a mere half-step saint. Where was his face? Thinking of this, Yang Jian attacked even more crazily. Gradually, Longao started to be unable to resist. But with pressure, there was motivation. Longao had already absorbed a lot of soul remnant will. It was just that he hadn't merged with it yet. Now, under the constant pressure, his soul remnant will quickly merge with it. His realm also started to loosen. Gotcha! Longao's face lit up. He hadn't broken through for a long time. Now, he instantly became a high-level half-step saint. Breakthrough in battle. Sensing that Longao's aura wasn't right, when everyone knew that Longao had broken through in battle, they were shocked to discover that not only had he not been killed by Yang Jian, but he had also broken through 2 realms. What kind of concept was this? Longao clearly knew that although this battle was filled with danger, it was a rare opportunity for him. Since his cultivation could break through 2 realms, then it wasn't impossible for him to continue breaking through. Just as Longao thought of this, his aura suddenly soared again. The high-level half-step saint instantly broke through to the peak half-step saint realm. He was only 1 step away from officially breaking through to the saint realm. Peak half-step saint. Yang Jian, who was attacking Longao, suddenly felt Longao break through 2 or 3 times. His expression changed slightly. Yang Jian also started to panic. He used more and more soul remnant will. Because of this, although Longao had broken through, he still couldn't resist Yang Jian's powerful attacks. This was the biggest difference between a half-step saint and a saint. Master used the Chaos Tablet. Chaos Tablet? Hearing Long Fu's reminder, Longao was depressed to the extreme. Although he also wanted to use the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, was it possible? The Chaos Tablet was the most powerful artifact in the world. However, Longao was no fool. Since Long Fu had said so, it seemed that he should be able to use the Chaos Stone Tablet's power. He tried to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. At this moment, Longao suddenly felt as if his flesh and blood were connected. He was very curious. Previously, he had not been able to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, but now he had such a feeling. What exactly happened? Although he was shocked, Longao was pleasantly surprised. He tried to communicate with the Chaos Stone Tablet. In the next second, a rectangular stone appeared in Longao's hand. At first glance, it looked like a brick. It was not a Chaos Stone Tablet at all. Brick? Everyone looked at the brick that suddenly appeared in Longao's hand. They were all dumbfounded. Could it be that Longao wanted to use the brick to fight the enemy? When Yang Jian saw the brick in Longao's hand, he was also surprised. He smiled and said, "Longao, is your brain damaged?" Longao didn't waste any more words. He was also looking forward to the power of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Holding the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in his hand, he smashed it fiercely. However, Longao couldn't sense any aura at all. What was going on? Longao didn't believe him. Long Fu wouldn't let him use the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet for no reason. But could a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet without any power help him smash a saint to death? However, at this moment, Longao suddenly felt that the Chaos Stone Tablet in his hand seemed to be a bit heavier. Longao didn't care too much. Yang Jian didn't place Longao or the brick in Longao's eyes at all. He punched out with both fists. Yang Jian wanted to use pure strength to directly destroy Longao. But at this moment, Yang Jian's expression changed. That was because the brick in Longao's hand seemed to have 10,000 pounds of weight. Kacha, the sound of bones breaking came from his left and right arms. The Chaos Stone Tablet had shrunk, but its original strength was still there. It was at least a few million pounds. Longao had already been recognized by the Chaos Stone Tablet and was slowly fusing with it. Of course, he didn't feel any weight. But to others, the situation was completely different. A few million pounds was something that even a saint wouldn't be able to block. A single brick had nearly killed Longao. Not to mention others, even Longao was stunned. The Chaos Stone Tablet seemed to be too heaven-defying. However, Longao was overjoyed. He had never imagined that the Chaos Stone Tablet's strength would be so tyrannical. Just one smash had nearly killed Yang Jian. Although there was more or less contempt in Yang Jian's heart, Longao knew that the Chaos Stone Tablet was terrifying. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao viciously smashed the brick at Yang Jian. With the previous example, how would Yang Jian dare to continue fighting head-on? As he dodged continuously, he felt extremely frustrated in his heart. Just what was that brick in his opponent's hand? A divine artifact? In an instant, Yang Jian had already guessed that although the brick in Longao's hand looked ordinary, it was actually a powerful divine artifact. As a divine martial artist in his previous life, how could he not recognize a divine artifact? If he was at his peak, he wouldn't be afraid at all. But the current situation was different. His opponent was already a peak half-saint. With the help of a powerful divine artifact, he could compare to a saint. If he didn't pay attention, wouldn't he die in vain? Because of this, Yang Jian didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless. At this moment, Yang Feng, who had been wavering left and right, suddenly charged forward. In this battle, first it was a swarm, then it was a battle of attrition, and now it was a battle of numbers. One had to admit that the Holy Land was shameless to the extreme. Even if they won this battle, the Holy Land's reputation would be completely lost. But things had already come to this point. Yang Jian and Yang Feng couldn't care less. Two saints teamed up to fight Longao alone, but Longao didn't have the slightest fear. With the brick in hand, he rushed out and smashed left and right, instantly engaging in a fierce battle with the two saints. Smashing the brick madly, 1 against 2. In this battle, Longao had already become the god of war in everyone's hearts, the god of war. Whether Longao lived or died in this battle, the 4 words Longao's god of war would spread throughout the countless islands in the outer sea. With the strength of one person, he killed 4 saints and fought 2 saints alone. How many people in the world could do this? Longao fought Yang Jian and Yang Feng alone. The battle between the 3 could be described as earth-shattering. They fought from the ground to the 9th heaven, and from the 9th heaven to the ground. Back and forth, the battle between the 3 continued to escalate. Neither Yang Jian nor Yang Feng dared to touch the brick in Longao's hand. As for Yang Jian's broken arms, they were instantly reconnected. After all, this kind of fracture was nothing to a saint. But even so, Yang Jian knew the power of Longao's brick. P.S. I got up late and went to bed late last night. My wife didn't allow me to get up. Hee, please forgive me. Chapter 592. Longao was fighting 1 against 2, but he still had the upper hand. Everyone was very clear in their hearts that the biggest reason why Longao was able to force the 2 of them was because of the brick in his hands. No one knew the origin of the brick in Longao's hand. It was actually able to fight against 2 saints by itself and forcefully suppress the joint forces of 2 saints. The brick was too powerful. Longao kept smashing the brick in his hand, not giving the 2 any chance to breathe. Now that things had reached this point, Yang Feng and Yang Jian both had thoughts of retreating. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. As long as the green hills remain, one need not worry about firewood. The 2 looked at each other and turned to leave at the same time. However, at this moment, Longao suddenly used the so-called spatial teleportation and directly appeared in front of Yang Feng. Without any hesitation, he kicked Yang Feng's butt. Ancestor! Yang Jian did not care about Yang Feng's life at all. He ran away as fast as he could and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Yang Jian abandoned Yang Feng? Everyone cursed Yang Jian fiercely. No matter what, Yang Feng was still a member of the sacred land. This time, the sacred land was completely destroyed. No one could have predicted this result. Yang Jian ran away, but Yang Feng stayed. Originally, as a saint, if Yang Feng fought with all his strength, it was still unknown whether Longao could kill him. However, Yang Feng was in despair now. He seemed to have forgotten that Longao was actually only a half-saint, and not a saint. Therefore, he gave up resisting. Longao didn't have the slightest bit of mercy because he deeply understood that being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. Rather than having endless troubles in the future, it was better to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots now. Longao put the Chaos Stone tablet into his dantian and started smashing with both fists. Kill the chicken to warn the monkey. Longao knew very well that he would leave Cloud Island sooner or later. Even if Longao could suppress Cloud Island temporarily with his power, what about the future? Therefore, Longao was prepared to smash Yang Feng to death as a show for the surrounding people. In just a few minutes, Yang Feng was already on the verge of death. Longao directly smashed him to death, and directly put Yang Chen's soul slave into the blood pool, preparing to refine his soul. Longao finally realized the benefits of having a powerful soul. If not for the fact that he had fused with his soul, not to mention making a breakthrough in his cultivation, he would have been killed by Yang Jian by now. After killing 4 half-step saints and smashing Yang Feng to death, Longao stood there like a war god, his might unrivaled. The Longao battle god, the might of the battle god. Everyone looked at Longao with fear and trepidation. After that, Longao handed over everything to Longbai. With the help of the 10 great sacred beasts, Longbai was confident that he could completely destroy the sacred ground in a short time. Longbai was very worried. Even if the Long family temporarily became the overlord of Cloud Island, it would not be easy for them to maintain their position. However, all these problems were no longer a problem. No matter what, the Long family had the 10 great sacred beasts to protect them. Dominating Cloud Island would be a simple matter. Longbai heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had come this time. Otherwise, it would be hard to imagine how the sacred ground would deal with the Long family in the future. The news of Longao destroying the sacred ground spread out in an instant. Those who received the news were all shocked. From this moment on, Longao's name was completely famous in the Cloud Island. Word of the battle god Longao also spread. With regards to this nickname, Longao felt helpless. However, there was nothing he could do about it. Unknowingly, the news of Longao on the Cloud Island spread out slowly. The surrounding islands all knew that there was such a god of war on the Cloud Island. There were obviously many people in this world who had nothing better to do. When they heard that Longao had called himself the battle god, they were immediately unhappy. The half-sages and saints of the surrounding islands all rushed over, wanting to see the so-called battle god of Cloud Island. Longao chose to ignore them. Longao dealt with all the challengers. With the Chaos Stone tablet, he was not afraid of any saints. As for half-sages, they were simply courting death. Long family. Master Long, thank you very much. Otherwise, the Long family would definitely have fallen into eternal damnation. Longao naturally knew what Long Bai was talking about. He nodded and said, "This matter ends here. In a few days I will leave Cloud Island. Remember, if Wang Hao and Yang Jian come looking for trouble, you can only use your wits and not your strength." Longao was only worried about two people. One was Wang Hao, and the other was Yang Jian. If he left and Wang Hao and Yang Jian came, based on their strength and situation, it should not be difficult for them to destroy the 10 Saint Beast Corps slaves. If that was really the case, how would the Long family deal with it? However, Longao knew that he had to do it. The reason was very simple. He was very worried about the safety of the 9 states. Longao had not returned to Tianzhou since the end of the Beast Tide. He knew nothing about the current situation in Tianzhou. Therefore, Longao was a little impatient. "Master Long, please don't worry. We will not be reckless. Yes, I will definitely return after I settle the matters of the 9 states. Master, you must come back." Nodding, Longao continued to stay on Cloud Island. He was very much looking forward to Wang Hao and Yang Jian's return. If that was really the case, then everyone would be happy and everything would be settled in one go. Yang Jian did not come, but Longao waited for Wang Hao to come. By the sea. "Longao, congratulations on destroying the sacred land and killing Yang Feng. Wang Hao, you are really brave. You clearly know that you are not my match, but you still dare to come. Oh right, I almost forgot. Your cultivation has already broken through to the Saint Realm." Sensing Wang Hao's aura, Longao was very surprised. This cultivation speed was a little too heaven-defying. Although he knew that Wang Hao was a rebirth realm cultivator and could not think like a normal person, Longao could not help but sigh. No wonder so many Divine Way cultivators were willing to take such a risk to enter the path of reincarnation. No matter what, the temptation was too great. Longao seemed to be unable to resist. "Wang Hao, even if you have broken through to the Saint Realm, do you think you can defeat me?" Longao was very curious. The news of him killing Yang Feng and scaring Yang Jian away should have spread. It was impossible that Wang Hao did not know. But why did Wang Hao still come? Was Wang Hao confident that he could defeat Yang Jian? As if he could see the doubts in Longao's heart, Wang Hao suddenly sneered and said, "Longao, I called you here for one thing. If you agree, it will be very beneficial for you. It will not be a problem for you to break through to the Supreme Divine Way in the future." Supreme Divine Way? Longao was very curious. He did not know what Supreme Divine Way Wang Hao was talking about. P.S. Chapter 3. Today is still the 10th chapter. Don't worry, I will definitely finish it. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.